things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
Yeah, fellas. What up, what up, what up? So we good? Like y'all can hear
Hey,
me though, right?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. We hear you loud and clear. What's
Live
All
and
cracking?
living
right.
color.
That's
How's
what's up, man.
everything?
Glad to see y'all boys made it through
Yo,
all this hurricane, storm, flood, BS weather we had the other day. Chop it up for us surviving. Um, a lot of people didn't make it
yeah.
through this week, man. And that was very sad. A lot of people car got messed up. I seen a lot of cars on the side of the road. Prayers out to those
Mm-hmm.
people because right now we're in a tough time where any little thing that can cause a hiccup can really set you back majorly. And I think a lot of times
Yeah.
people don't have the type of insurance, and that's what we need to do. I think we need to grab some insurance people on here, and really dial down into the car insurance or house insurance and let them know the real deals of what they need, because a lot of times we don't understand or know certain policies that we might need the extra coverage for, and just giving them the education and letting them know the availability so they could protect themselves. Because if I have to pay an extra $30 a month, I'd rather do that than to sit here and flood out my whole car and now my engine gone, and that's 10 grand, and they're not covered with it because of, the legality of it and the quote unquote, specifics of your policy. So definitely need to
Right.
dial into that. And I know another thing too is a lot of people don't get the uninsured um, policy on cars as well. So if a person is uninsured, if they're driving around uninsured, if their thing lapse, at least you cover their portion on your bill as well. You still afforded the 10, 20,000 that you normally supposed to get from the other person. So even though it comes off your insurance goes back and get it from the other people. But we definitely need to break that down a little bit further. And I think it's very important heading forward, because everything is so tight. We want to make sure that our peoples are covered in all angles. This is a platform for men. We talk about men issues and things we deal with. But mostly when you're dealing with men, you're dealing with family. You're dealing with the family structure, the head of the household. So, the Trinity moves from upstairs to the man and then disperse everywhere else. So we are the head controllers. We are the ones that lead. We are the ones who provide the information and the dictatorship of which direction we should go into. Um, and that's not a bad thing to use the term dictatorship, because you have to dictate where your family wants to go. If you want a person to lead you, he has to dictate the direction for you guys to flow. So sometimes I know
Correct.
people like to use terminology and take it out of context for their ideology or feminism or whatever way they want to turn it and angle it. But definitely something that we definitely have to get into. So with that being said, I know Major had brought this topic up,
Well,
defining simps. I think it was long overdue. We went
Yeah.
through a lot of episodes and we didn't really get to a part where we were talking about simps, and we had a lot of um, there's a lot of things that we need to dial down into. And SIMPS is one of the major functions and critical aspects of the relationship, dating field, and society, because SIMPS, if not called out or controlled, can damage what real men are trying to build out here and trying to pave a way for a more successful society. So a lot of times we have men out here that will get caught up into simpish behavior. And
yes, sir.
even though women benefit from a lot of simps, they don't understand that even though you benefit from it, there is an underlying destruction that comes with it as well. So if you're benefiting from it, you're also promoting the destruction in another area as well. So we want to highlight that throughout the program and show you that even though you do get some of the perks from it, it overall it damages the society. It damages our structure and our well-being and our ideology all into one. So we definitely want to highlight the that important part of it, because when we think about Simps, we only think about it in a very minute way. We don't think of it in a very damaging way. And that's what we're going to bring tonight to show you the different aspects of simping. So before anybody wants to get into it, we definitely want to give you the definition of simp, right? So the Oxford Dictionary definition of simp is a silly or foolish person, right? And then
Yep. Sure.
the additional terminology is a simp is an internet slang term describing someone who shows excessive sympathy, and attention towards another person, typically someone who does not reciprocate the same feelings, in pursuit of affection or a sexual relationship. The Urban Dictionary defines a simp as someone who does way too much for a person they like. And then at the bottom with the Urban Dictionary, it goes into details as it is when a male is overly submissive to a female
Mm-hmm.
and gains nothing from it. So overly submissive that the other guys cringe and feel ashamed when seeing them. And I
Ain't
think
that the
that's
truth?
nothing more further from the truth. That is the God honest truth. And definitely going to hand it over to Major so he can elaborate a little bit more on that. So you take it over, Major. Major,
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
yes, it's on you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear
There
you.
you go.
Okay, cool. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can hear you.
You know.
Okay, cool, cool. Cause my okay. I mean, hearing some choppy Wi-Fi and stuff going on, so I wasn't sure. Um, First of all, greetings to everybody. What's going on? Hope everybody's well.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
this is a topic, like Ant said, it's long overdue. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello?
We can
We
hear
got
you.
you.
We can hear you.
Okay, good, good. It's long overdue. Oh, good, good. I can hear you guys, so it's going in and out. All right, cool. Um, yeah, Simps are, extraordinarily dangerous human beings. A lot of the discourse that we have out here in the environment, whereas we're discussing dating and relationships, a lot of the progress that could be made is thwarted because of simps. I agree with the definition that the dictionary gave and the Urban Dictionary gave as well, but to add to that, simps are opportunists, and at the end of the day, they just do a lot of selfish things that stunt their own growth and stunt the growth of the women out here in the dating and relationship realm as well. I would say that yeah, a simp is a male, not a man, but a male that does not truly value himself as a man and shows how by performing actions that belittle and denigrate men for the purpose of currying favor with women. These are truly despicable individuals. I remember I was having a debate not too long ago where we had the Mount Simpmore. If y'all remember that meme, I couldn't find it, but we had the Mount Simpmore and it had all these simps on those four faces of four people that men, broadly speaking, for males consider to be simps. Russell Wilson was on there, check. Dwayne Wade was on there, check. Will Smith was on there, check. Derek Jackson was on there. A lot of people were trying to scratch their head and were scratching their head and trying to figure out how Derek Jackson qualified as a simp. And I had to point out it's very simple. Derek Jackson uses a lot of deceptive tactics and just outright lies to curry favor. He targets these weak-minded women, and he uses these tactics and he lies to them and he tells them how wonderful they are and blows smoke up their ass all the time. And he made a whole market for himself out of that. He carved his own space out, where he was able to get out there and con these idiots into, buying the snake oil that he was selling, and they basically will believe anything that he says, anything to avoid personal accountability and having to grow. You know what I mean? They would just kind of buy into any and everything he said. That's an extraordinarily dangerous simp. Steve Harvey is another extraordinarily dangerous simp, you know, because they have so much influence and they're so visible that you know, because they don't have any expertise and they're putting this false image of being the person with all the answers and the person that wants to help you, ladies. I want to help you. And they're not helping them at all. You know what I mean? We're already in a situation where the black family is in decline, the black family is falling apart. And you have these clowns out here, just kind of putting wood on the fire and making the situation worse by not telling the truth and just being opportunists. I think it was another one of these female, it wasn't Stormy Wellington, another one of these female so-called relationship gurus or whatever that said she actually came out and said, I think her name is Angela something. She came out and said in an interview, if you want to get rich, just, pander to a bunch of women, sell them fluff, tell them what they want to hear, and they'll just open their wallets and just woman took some women to it was a football game and they had her in like one of the luxury suites and she was supposedly introducing them or showing them how to attract and retain high value men. I think she charged them like $10,000 a head or something like $10 or $12,000 a head. And I mean, it was just a luxury suite. You know what I mean? And, the regular people going up there. There were a couple, celebrities there. They didn't marry no Prince Charming from that situation. But I mean, Simps are people who feed into that type of narrative. People that co-sign people who feed into that type of narrative. And they're really just selling snake oil. They're not out here trying to help anybody. The black women are allies. They're all about being opportunists, finding, a way to make money for themselves and leaving everybody else, kind of broken. Like family's already broken. They leave everybody else broken. They contribute to the thought process of having broken black families. These people are not your friends. And we need to stop listening to them. We need to really ostracize these people from black society. They have nothing of value to offer to the dating and relationship conversation or anything else for that matter. Because if you don't respect yourself as a man, who do you respect? What thing of value do you bring to the table to be able to lead, to be able to provide, to be able to protect, and so forth and so on? These low level suckers gotta go. I'm sick of them. Go ahead, man. My bad. I hope I didn't break up too bad during that.
No, no, no. You was good. You was good. Yeah. So
Did y'all?
the Simps are very
Okay, cool.
destructive about it. The Simps are very destructive about it. They're very destructive in society, and they do mess up a ecosystem that has paved the way for men to flourish and lead women in the right direction. Since Simps came into the equation, they have definitely caused a little bit of chaos and definitely have shifted society and our ideology and our structure in a whole different direction. I think a lot of times, like I say, women benefit from it, but they don't know the underlying damage that comes along with it. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Bobby real quick so he can elaborate a little bit more on his version of the simp and what it does for our community and society.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with everything you gentlemen were saying. Major slammed it out the park with that one. Um, Basically, a simp is a bottom feeder. A
Mm,
simp is a scavenger. They're the cockroach or the shrimp. They're the little whatever scavenger that you can think of that moves at the very bottom of the pond, the lake, the ocean, and just eats the dead uh, refuse and the castaway. That's what a simp is. A simp basically has no respect for self. And the thing about it is here, and this is one of the things that contributes to the damage that they cause, is that women don't respect simps either.
mm,
That's the thing. Even the women who benefit from simps, they don't have any respect for those simps either. They will
So
routinely, may not do it initially, but the longer they're in the presence of that simp or simps, what's going to happen is their perception of him as not only as a man but also as a person is going to diminish They're going to cross all kinds of boundaries that they wouldn't normally cross with a man they actually respected. They'll cut corners. They'll ask too much of him, more than what they should be asking, and in most cases, he'll be willing to give into those requests, even if it's to his own detriment. Um, he'll sacrifice on his end for, again, nothing in return. And we're not talking about just doing like a good deed for somebody or just being there for someone at a time of need, but basically superficial wants and desires become major, huge obligations and opportunities for the simp. Um, a classic example of the simp would be, for example, a woman's going through a rough patch with her boyfriend or with her husband or whatever, and she's really down and dejected. And the classic sim move will be him coming up, trying to be that, shoulder to cry on. Oh, if you ever need anything, I'm right here for you. And he's not saying that because he's trying to be a caring person. He's trying to look out for her. He sees her in a time of need, and he's trying to, do his part. He's saying it because he's hoping he can weasel his way into some draws and some action, because he either does not have the ability to, or he doesn't have the moral scruples to just go and approach her like in a regular upfront interaction, shoot a shot, and make things pop off. So basically, Simps are very weaselly. Sometimes it's because they're just operating in a nefarious way. They're trying to be unscrupulous, but sometimes it's because they just generally don't have any respect for self, and they think being a doormat and doing everything and being a yes man is going to be the express lane to getting to where they want to be. Um, and like I hinted at before, where that comes in and causes issues is if a woman is overly exposed to this, if she's routinely encountering dudes like this, or she has a persistent case like this, if she tries to go and interact with men who are not simps and have the same expectations, try to do with them the same way she does with a simp, it's typically going to end up in her having conflicts with those men. She's going to end up in many cases not getting what she wants, and getting rejected in one way or another. She'll get laughed at. She'll, be, passed on and dismissed or told to go somewhere else with the nonsense. And she's going to be confused. She's going to be hurt. She's going to be upset. In some cases, the ego and feeling is going to be bruised too, because, well, why isn't he going along with this? And what also happens is when women get a false impression of how men are supposed to operate, and they'll say things like, well, you're not a real man because X, Y, Z. So because this other man basically gave her carte blanche, license to kill, and did whatever, she's under the impression that this is how men are supposed to operate. This is how gentlemen are supposed to be. This is what a good man looks like, when it's the absolute opposite. And so it's going to cause her to shift her radar. So now she's going to be looking at men who are absolutely no good for her, who she won't be able to respect, who she's going to cross the boundaries of, who ultimately she's going to end up leaving probably for a dude who's solid and thorough, but it's going to put her through a whole bunch of nonsense beforehand, and even cause her to possibly turn off decent men, because men who are solid and who are well versed in these things, they usually don't want women by their side who don't have proper respect for men, or who don't know how to properly cooperate and partner with men. Some dudes who don't have as much going for them, they can be, more long suffering with that and willing to maybe work out the kinks if they see there being some value to it. But especially when we're talking about dudes who would be considered high value, or men who are busy, they're, self-directed, self-motivated, have a lot of things going for themselves. For those
Mhm.
men, time is their most precious and valuable resource. And if they see a woman who looks as though she doesn't have it, where she's not where she should be in terms of how to deal with men at a certain age, especially, they're not going to waste time trying to go ahead and pull a rescue job. They're not necessarily looking for perfect women,
Right.
but they're looking for women that they can at least hit the ground running with off top. And if the woman doesn't even have the ability to properly interact with, have healthy expectations, and not even be reasonable with men off top, then that's a moot point. If you can't get to the, if you can't handle the remedial courses, you're not going to be ready for the more advanced stuff.
Correct, definitely. And I want to show somebody, I
Real
want to
talk.
show the audience
Mm-hmm.
basically what, in regards to the simp, and how Bobby Drake put it so adequately. about how it can backfire, bottom feeders. And this is what one simp did. So he dude pays 10,000 to meet a girl. He follows her on OnlyFans. All he got was a hug. 1 month later, that money is funding a trip for her and her actual boyfriend that she had the entire time. So as you can see that
Wow.
the beneficial treatment that women get from guys that are
God,
out here simping, and $10,000, to be honest, $10,000 for an average person can really be used to flip and might create a business that end up being booming later on. So for you to just give $10,000 just to get a hug or meet your OnlyFans crush, to me, I feel like that was way of a waste of her money. It was beneficial for her because she got to take her husband out on a vacation and he was the one laying pipe. So while you reminiscing on the hug, he was out there clapping them cheeks, as Bobby Drake said, um, all
round
type
of
of ways
applause.
that you can probably or wish that you probably would come kind of imagine clapping cheeks too. So I just wanted to show that how simping can definitely backfire and go wrong. And it's not only for men, a lot of women that benefit from simping. They go out here and they show their body and they try to enrage and engage in this type of community of simps. And yes, they'll get the following, they'll get the likes. But guess what? When it comes to financially, sometimes the simping can backfire on you because you give up your morals, you give up everything in hopes that the simps would carry you to the next level. And when that doesn't happen,
Mm,
now the guys who look at you in a moral code, they don't want to deal with you. And the simps don't fund anything with you. And now you end up being like Chloe Bailey, who ends up selling an album based on sex, showing all his skin, and now the simping thing
mm,
backfires on you. So, Chloe Bailey's new album In Pieces is flopping badly, only sells 10,000 copies. And the
An
problem with that
album.
is she was out there doing those things and in hopes of the simping and the thirst trapping was going to benefit in the background of it, but it ended up backfiring on her. And I know her
mm.
family really don't encourage that. And I know her and her mom got into it because they're from a Christian background, and they were really on her about
Right.
her doing too much for the audience, doing showing too much skin, getting too raunchy, knowing that you are representing the family brand. And her sister, which the
Mm,
mother and the father gravitate to more, and is the lead role in the new upcoming Disney movie of what's the
The
Disney
Little
movie
Mermaid.
again?
The
Yeah,
Little
the Little
Mermaid.
Mermaid. Yes, correct. So the Little Mermaid, now she's getting all the attention. She's doing what, the parents, feel like is the right way you're supposed to promote yourself, your brand, and your family. And this is what happens. So, once you cross, this is why a lot of times we tell women, not to really engage into that simp behavior or the thirst trapping because it'll backfire on you and then leave you out in the wind. And then when you don't have no safety net, now that can be very problematic. And sometimes when women are so used to the limelight and the limelight gets pulled and the rug gets pulled underneath them, then it could also be very detrimental to the point where they lead into depression. And you guys know depression will eventually lead into self taking their life, which is attempt of suicide. So we don't want our women to fall into that area of it. So we try to tell you at the most to go out here, live righteous, live as conscious as you can. If you got a little freak in you, keep that behind closed doors between you and your man, and
Right.
that everything else will fall into place. You will get the guy that you want. Everything it'll run smooth for you. So definitely, I'll turn it over to you guys if you guys want any additional on the two uh, things I just shown.
I just want to chime in real quick, man. With the
Yeah.
Chloe Bailey situation, that was just heartbreaking, man.
Mm.
And it's heartbreaking on another level for me because I'm such a big Chloe Bailey and well, Chloe X Halle fan, I guess you would say. And
Mm.
I was such a big fan of theirs because they were so clean cut, they were so decent, they were so respectable in the way they presented themselves. I liked and enjoyed that about them. And they were musicians. They can actually female can actually sing. They can actually play instruments. I know Chloe, I've seen her play. She can play, man. She makes tracks. She's sick. She's extraordinarily talented. I was hoping that Thought Nation didn't get hold of them and convert them into something else. Seems like the other sisters kind of still low key with it, but Chloe just kind of jumped out the window a little bit. And the thing is, when you're not that person, people can kind of see it. You know what I mean? They can kind of smell it on you. It don't even seem right coming from her. You know what I mean? It just doesn't look right, doesn't feel right. We've been watching you since you were a little girl. It's kind of cringeworthy. Like, I don't want to see her like that. Yeah, I don't want to see anybody like that, really, but especially her, and her sister. They're so talented. And it's like, damn, you want to see, I would like to see more artists, particularly female artists that are out here, just kind of throwing pussy everywhere. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see your talent. I want to see if you know how to play. I want to see you sit down at a piano and play something, at a keyboard and play something, on a saxophone and play something. You can dance. You don't have. We had a whole debate on here with some knucklehead talking about Sierra and how she's danced all her life or whatever the case may be. And it's like, who said you can't dance? Why does everything have to be hyper sexualized? Why can't you just dance? And it not be all this gyrating, your genitals gyrating all over the place, and rubbing your titties and all this type of business. Why it got to be all that? You know what I mean? Like, I think that unfortunately a lot of our young women have lost their way. When I posted about this, there were women on the post that were more upset than I was. Now, these are the same women who cape for some of these other women out here doing all this overly sexualized stuff, which was crazy to me, right? But even they can see for this particular young lady, or they feel like I felt, this ain't your lane. You know what I mean? We don't want to see that from you. So even I'm seeing a lot of people have sense enough to kind of know the ledge, like everything ain't for everybody. And for this particular person, I think the reason why her album failed the way that it did, because the single was hot. You know what I'm saying? The single was hot. She you feel how you want to feel about the messaging of the song, but the single was actually a hot single. But then a whole bunch of other things started kind of happening behind the scenes that made people look at her strangely. And even if your single is hot, it's a lot more that goes into a fan base really riding for you. They got to kind of identify with who you are as a person. And when they feel that you're trying too hard to be something that you're not, they're not gonna rock with you. I didn't even know the album dropped. I had no idea that her album even came out. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate. And she released other songs, but like the imagery on some of the songs that she released after that, the imagery on the videos was just so dirty looking. I didn't even want to listen to the song. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, like you said, she was kind of counting on the thirst
Abuse
trap,
like that.
you know, bringing all the men in or whatever the case may be, and the women who, cape for that type of stuff too. And everybody just was kind of like, nah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I felt so bad for the sister, but I'm starting to see among sisters, things are moving a little different. I mean, the City Girls, the last song they dropped, man, they dragged them in the comments on that video. Like, haven't we heard this before? Y'all still talking about, using niggas? And I mean, they really went in. I was like, damn, who are these people? Because they've been doing this for years. So what changed now? You know what I mean?
Mm,
But I'm seeing, little rays of hope here and there that, some of the women are starting to now really rock with some of this. But to get back to the topic of the day, a simp, that'll be their holy grail. They can't get enough of that. They love to, see women get out here and present themselves in a disparaging manner and so forth because that translates to them as easy. And a simp will always go after a woman that's easy. You know what I mean? And use
yeah.
deceptive tactics to get with her, whatever. So that was just something crazy. I hate to see it, but it is what it is, man. Go ahead, Bobby. What you
Definitely.
got, man? What you got, Bobby? I know that smile. Uh-oh.
All right, let me add this in so Bobby can capitalize on this. So is this
Hey.
also true? Because I wanted to point out how Major was talking about how women are now holding other women accountable for their BS, and I see women are now calling out and putting women in the fire. And one woman wrote this: Black women are single because they want to get paid for being in a relationship.
Whoa,
So
whoa, whoa,
no,
whoa. How you gonna put that up there after I already responded, man?
I,
Oh,
I, you
oh.
know, I'll let Bobby skew on that, and I'll let you backtrack on that
All right, go
That's
ahead, man.
not
Go ahead.
myself over that one. God dang. Whew.
Woo! Woo! Wait. Sisters is out
I
here
thought the flooding
being
was over.
yes, real talk. Go ahead, go ahead.
Mm.
one.
Uh, I was just gonna say to tag back to earlier.
Oh,
Imagine dropping 10 stacks, $10,000, only to find out at the end of it you still only a fan.
Mm,
That's gotta hurt.
the irony.
You paid 10 grand for a hug
damn. Oh,
and to get somebody else's Jimmy Russell. Meanwhile, your action for that evening was Angela and Pamela, and you had to go ahead and put the twins together and make something happen. That's a national tragedy. Um, but you know, one of the issues, and I'm not even not advocating, but I'm just speaking from the Chloe perspective because she's not the only person to have this sort of um, unfortunate situation where she gambled on Thought Nation and she rolled snake eyes.
Mm,
The problem
mm,
is Thought Nation, thought culture as a whole is not a sustainable market, not a sustainable strategy.
mm,
Um,
true.
that niche of women and their handful of simp cuck supporters, they're very niche for one. For two, in terms of wealth and support, you typically don't get too much where the financial backing comes from. That you might get some online banter, you might get some social support, you might get a whole bunch of likes and stuff. But in terms of that actually converting into something tangible that'll benefit you in the real world,
Mm,
mm,
it doesn't come up. They don't invest like that. They don't
mm,
spend like that. They don't invest in each other like that. To be honest,
mm,
I've had the ability to peek into and see some conversation between some of those types and some of the little infeuding and infighting and in bickering that goes back and forth. That's about as big a den of vipers as it gets. Literally they'll be all, on the bandwagon with each other today, and 5 seconds later the wind shifts, a raindrop falls from the sky, and all of a sudden they're at each other's throats, cannibalizing one another.
mm,
They're savage as hell, not just to other people, but with each other as well too. So you can easily be in the good graces today, and tomorrow they're gonna find some reason to go at your neck tomorrow, and rinse, wash, and repeat. So you might be saying and doing everything they like today, but missing even slightly turn the corner tomorrow,
mm,
or missing, you become redundant, like Major pointed out. Did we already hear this? But this is your get down. Yeah, you
mm,
want to hear something else? Well, dang, she wanted you right now, man. Put the bitch aside. Who's the next person? It's just it's very very transactional because their whole thought process, the whole way they move and maneuver is transactional.
Mm.
So you're not going to get much staying power from them. You can count on thought culture to make you go viral, at least the way you want to. But
Mm-hmm.
as soon as that little 15 seconds of fame runs out, they will quickly, smoothly toss your ass right
It's a
back on
wrap.
the sidewalk,
Exactly.
and you by yourself. And now the problem is, once that
Mm-hmm.
happens, you've already been used and spit out, just like many of them are.
Mm.
So now they've turned their back on you. What often happens is those people try to pivot back to the following they had before. They try to get a following that has more substance, that's a bit more, hefty. But they seen you get down, they ain't rocking with you. They don't want to be. They don't have their ears trained to you anymore.
Yeah.
So you've essentially burned your bridge at both ends without even
Real talk.
realizing it. Now
Yeah.
you're on an island. You know,
Got your
I
flavor.
like. I've never
Yeah.
been big on her music. Not anything against her. I just haven't really heard her like that to really get into her music. Haven't really felt inclined to do so. But I have heard good things. I have liked the duo before of Haley and Chloe. Was really hoping that those sisters got some staying power. Maybe it's possible she can go ahead and just, shelf the solo career for a bit. See if her and the sis can go ahead and rejoin forces and put some stuff again. She can kind of maybe piggyback off of her sister and the group's previous image and see if she can kind of rehab herself in that way.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, she may have had her time in the sun and it's just going to be her sister riding it out solo from now on. No one to blame but
Yeah.
herself. But that's
Yeah.
just the nature of the business, you
Yeah.
know. Even these Simps, one of the issues with Simps, at least, and why it's not sustainable where they're concerned, is because no matter what, there's never going to be a surplus of Simps.
Mm.
Period. And then not just that, but you're looking at benefiting from Simps outside of just empty, hollow flattery and all kind of fake care and concern, or vomit-inducing fawning over you, if you're looking for that to actually have some tangential benefits, most simps don't have it like that paper wise.
Mm.
If you think of the characteristics of a simp, that typically doesn't translate into someone who makes some serious paper, who has stability. Usually, these are dudes who are at the bottom of the totem pole socially, anyways. And while it's not necessarily a requirement to earn good money, you typically find as you go up with your tax bracket, as your income rises every 10K or so often, you typically find that the personality traits become a bit more in sync as you go up. Usually, the people who are high earners, high performers, there's a certain type of mindset you have to have. There's a certain level of confidence you have to be able to do that, a certain level of proficiency. Simps usually don't have that. You might have one or two of them who are able to slip into those ranks. Usually they're very good at what they do. So their level of skill, and in some cases their work ethic, that merits them being able to be in those spaces and command those resources. But most Simps ain't got it like that.
Mm.
And so, like anything else, a lot of women don't like the idea of competing. But like anything else, when you have a limited resource to gain access to it, you're going to have to compete for it. So
Period.
if you have two, three, let's say five productive Sims, and you got 100 women vying for those productive Sims, that means at least 95 of those women are going to be ass out. And they're
Mm.
either going to have to try and find a way to humble themselves and share and double up on them,
Mm.
or they're going to
Mm.
Mm.
go ahead and have to try and see if they can wait till there's a gap and opening. But meanwhile, those needs that they're looking to get met aren't getting met because again, it's not sustainable. There are more solid men out there who will have your back one way or another, whether that's a full provision or willing to at least do some level of a split with you. There are more men out there that you could hitch your wagon to, or that you can at least get into alignment with, than there are the simps that'll just break their own bank just to trick off on you.
Correct.
So,
Mm.
Correct.
All right.
Um, every time that I come across a simp on social media, and I want everybody who is watching to grab this meme, and you guys can always screenshot it off the program later. But this meme right here is my simp stopping meme. So anytime I see a simp, anytime I see a simp in action, this is my
Oh.
go-to meme that I have on deck for the simp. That is my that is my simp stopping meme, right?
Oh,
So you guys can use this. If you need to use it, use it.
oh my
Anytime you
Ooh.
see a
God.
simp that is guy that's in there simping, stop him in his tracks. Because you're saving a life when you post this. You're saving him
I
from
agree.
Sure
you're saving him from destruction of himself. So
I
I
are.
agree.
use this
Mercy.
meme. I use this meme all the time. And when I tell you it shut down a simp real bad, it shuts down a simp. I think it's one of
Oh
the most
my
effective
God.
memes that I have in my arsenal. But this
Okay.
meme, when I post this meme, trust me, everybody is gonna highlight this dude and is gonna laugh at that dude, and that's gonna shut him
Uh-huh.
down from simping ASAP. So y'all make sure
I
y'all grab this meme and screenshot it later on in the show, or anytime you guys get this meme and use it as a shutdown meme. And also, you guys got to understand that when you have simps out here, uh, there's a lot of behavior, simpish behavior that goes off into individual's character. And what it does is the simping ends up breaking down into a guy doing things that normal men don't do. And I think Major made a major point earlier when he said he corrected the definition because it said men or men, and he said male because you're not a man if you're in there doing that simping. And and when we look at it, this is not the action of a man. And I'm gonna show you this video. And even the child that's sitting at this table is looking like, and this is crazy. I think this is a phenomenal video because the child is looking at this guy like, I just know this didn't just do this shit, right? So I want you to understand how simping can generate into behavior that is just not appropriate for men. All right.
Yeah.
So you see the child is looking like, dude, really? This is what you're
Wow.
doing?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now, I have a question.
Yes.
Are there any men around? I mean, women around. I didn't see any women in that shot. Are there any women around?
But see, the thing about the hibachi, it's a square table. So it might not be any women on that side where they're sitting, but
Mhm.
who's recording? Could it be a woman recording? Because that's
Could
on
be.
that side of the table. You feel me? And you don't know who's lined up on that side of the table. So we see the son,
No.
and we see the father next to the son, and then we see this guy, and it don't look like nobody's next to him. But then who's on the other side of the block? And maybe his mother might be on the other side of the father. And then there's
Could be.
probably a couple recording. Maybe a woman probably tapped her dude, is like, yo, look at this dude's behavior. And then he probably pulled out his phone and recorded. So initially we don't see anybody there, but hibachi tables are set up where you have people on this side and that side, virtues off what you see pointed on that side.
Okay. The reason why I asked that question is because we actually had a debate earlier, and we were talking about the whole Derek Jackson thing where people were trying to say that he wasn't a simp, and I was like, no, I
Yeah.
absolutely proved how he was, and I had another one that I was talking about this punk ass buster Mark Lamont Hill who came
Mm.
out
More,
making me
um, excuse me, sir. It's sorry. That's he had a legal name change some time ago. His name is actually Moist Lamont Hill.
Moist Lamont Hill. Okay, got it.
Moist.
That whole ass.
You
Right.
got to emphasize
Okay.
Moist Lamont
Right.
Hill.
Moist Lamont Hill because man, I don't know of a better word to describe this cat moist, but yeah. Okay, so he came out last week talking all this nonsense about how he was outside during Freaknik and this, that, and the third, and you know, all the white supremacist talking points that was handed down to him from his handlers about how Freaknik was all about rape culture and it was rape fest and all this type of stuff. See, Mark Lamont Hill, I say he's either a simp or he's simp adjacent
Yeah.
because we all know Mark Lamont. See, the thing about Simps is a certain type of buster that acts in a demeaning way to curry favor with women. But
Hmm.
those of us that have been watching Mark Lamont Hill for a while know that Mark Lamont Hill ain't interested in the women. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's why he named Moist Lamont Hill. We know he's not interested in women, at least for the purposes that we would be interested in women for, right?
Correct.
But he still uses deception to pander to women, like
Yes.
in this instance. You understand what I'm saying? To get some type of sister girl bond with the women and himself. You understand
Correct.
where I'm coming from? So,
Mm-hmm.
in that regard, to use this type of despicable lie to try and say that there is any type of rape culture in black society. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And to say that Freaknik was rape fest or whatever type of nonsense, that to me also was solidified simple fact. You're trying to sexual access, but you're trying to pander to women so that you can form some type of fake ass alliance with women so that you can turn around and shit on the men. You understand what I'm saying? And curry favor with your white supremacist handlers. I also feel like that's probably the most dangerous kind of simp in my judgment. What do you think on
Yes.
that? I mean, because it was
What's
really
that?
despicable what he did. You know what I
Yes.
mean? What you say, Bob?
That's what.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that I caught some of what he was saying. First off, eh, this nigga is like a meth head groundhog. Every time I think the
Real talk.
nigga's dead and lying in a ditch somewhere, or he just got kidnapped overseas, or just fell off the face of the earth, or somewhere, or got his shoelace caught in a space shuttle and dragged into the solar system or something. He just pops up and it's like, oh, you're still alive, and you still a bitch nigga like before. Okay, and ain't nothing changed with you. Okay, you're consistent. It's like he just
Real
pops
talk.
and reaffirms himself. The issue with
Mm-hmm.
Moist Lamont Hill is this nigga is desperately hunting,
Mm-hmm.
scavenger hunting for a job. He's trying to get put up on
Exactly.
somebody's mainstream network. He's trying to get up on CNN. I think he's given up on that. Most of those shills know that the door to
Mm-hmm.
CNN is squarely locked. They got Don Lemon up there at the post, and even he's on ice right now. So they know that's a no
Mm-hmm.
go. They're hoping that MSNBC or some other network will have them on where they can go ahead and be a contributor. God forbid, get their own actual talk show spot where they can go ahead and just have a more prominent stage for the hand that's up their ass to go ahead and make their gums twerk and bump with each other. That's what he's trying to
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
he
Right.
understands, unfortunately, that one of the best audition tapes that you can make is shitting on black men, heterosexual black men in particular, for the news to
Right.
try and make us look good and hope and see. In this case, if he can get a whole second coming of Me Too going, where now we can go ahead and accuse all these black men who have absolutely no evidence, no accusations, nothing whatsoever of sexual misconduct, and go ahead and railroad them. And of course, individuals like this, they're never going to go and highlight white-based festivals. They're not going to talk about Joshua Tree. They're not going to go dig in the archives for Woodstock, a festival that was known for being full of drug usage,
Mm-hmm.
weed, LSD, all kinds of drugs that specifically get you out of your right natural mind, where you're unable to
Mm-hmm.
consent to anything sexual. But we know there's all
Yeah.
kinds of, they even talk about it being a love festival where people were just feeling so good and we're just free with the love. They're never going to go and dig in those archives and try and pull that nonsense, but they'll come to black people because they know that we're soft targets. It's
Yeah.
despicable.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And as I said before, you really have to be a bottom feeder to do some nonsense like that, especially against your own people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, I definitely would say he's on his type is on the top end of the spectrum in terms of dangerous ones. The other dangerous type of simps are the ones who are strictly in the romantic sense, the scorned ones, who after being shot down for their sympatry time and again and again and again, they keep simping, 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 and they get no
Mm-hmm.
results because of it. The ones who typically go full incel, they go in the full rage, then they become violent or hostile. So now
Right.
he's out here score. He's let you cry on his shoulder 18 times. He was hard the whole time, ready to go, but at no point in time did she ever try to go ahead and initiate or if he tried to go and do anything, she smacked his hand away or whatever, and just buffed him, rebuffed him, rebuffed him. Every time
Mm-hmm.
he held the door open for her, she never said thank you. She just smiled and kept on walking.
Right.
She keeps forgetting his birthday. All the times when he's just been rebuffed, despite his attempts to be a nice guy, quote unquote. And now all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's mad. So he sees her, he's in a rage. He wants to attack her. Might even pull a homicide because you do have some Sims who have become homicidal.
Yes.
Or might
Yes.
just go on a whole rant where he hates women now, and now his life's mission is to talk about how women are horrible, women are this, that, and third. Full blown deep sea dive into
Yeah.
misogyny, wholeheartedly, on no holds barred with it. So you
Mm-hmm.
have those types as well too, and they're very dangerous also. Now, this isn't to say that if a woman doesn't go ahead and give into what a male is asking of her, that it's her fault. But you definitely have males who, once
Right.
they're played with, do not react properly. It wasn't that case, obviously, but there was another case, I believe, of I don't know if she had an OnlyFans. She might have just been doing some prostitution on the side, whatever. But basically, this dude ended up being very generous with her. No, I think he bought her a car, maybe something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, she did the whole "Oh, you're so sweet, thanks," but there was absolutely no return, not even a little bit of the action. She didn't put out. She didn't do anything for him, nothing in that regard. And I believe he ended up pulling up on her and unaliving her. I think I'd have to go look. I've actually sadly heard several stories in that vein, so I can't keep track of which story is which. But this has happened before, where these women knew that they were entertaining dudes who clearly wanted something sexual from her, or at least wanted more than just the transactional benefactor relationship. They went
Right.
ahead and took and benefited from it, did not hold up their end of the bargain, whether they agreed to it verbally or otherwise. They understood why he was doing this, and he wasn't doing this because he was this wonderful, magnanimous person. But they went ahead, fed into it, and when he didn't get what he wanted, when he felt like he was cheated and defrauded,
Right.
then went ahead and got revenge. Again, not
Mm-hmm.
saying that it was earned or deserved because it isn't, but at the same time, when you're playing with people, simps are usually unstable characters. You can't really invest in this because people who have low self worth, who don't feel very well, typically they tend to be on the fringe anyways. That's not universally true, but
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes low self esteem, having that sense of low self worth, and then you add in factors of people taking advantage of them or them perceiving that they're being taken advantage of, that doesn't always end very well. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there are some women who play the game and they benefit, they make it off like a bandit. Good for them. You have some women who try to pull that and they get the right one, or they hit snake eyes off top and it does not go very well for them one way or the other. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
dangerous game to play. But just know if you do decide to play the game, you are deciding to play the game. You have no control over how it's going to go. And I've said this before when it comes to cheating, pertaining to both genders as well. Everybody is not built for bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Some people you can play games with their head day in, day out, sun up to sundown, nonstop, and they'll just sit right there and just take it with a smile and gritted teeth.
Right.
And some people you can do it one time with them, and they bring World War III to your doorstep, and you
Mm-hmm.
have no idea who's who, how many strikes you have to go. There's no
Right.
telling.
Real talk.
So it's a very risky game to play. And to be honest, I'm not sure if the potential benefits are worth the risk. But you know,
Exactly.
as my
Hell no.
grandfather used to say, every man knows the pinch of his own boots. So if you think that it's worth the risk, if you feel like the lick is worth a shot, hey, more power to you. But if it goes sour and you're hearing this, then you can't feign ignorance. You knew that this wasn't going to be a clean, easy mission off top.
I'm glad you
Right.
said that because you pointed out that a lot of the guys, uh, Mark Lamont Hill Moise, is now siding with women and using talking points that feminist or masculine women use to go out here and point out a narrative. Uh, Not to say that there wasn't dusty dudes at Freaknik, and those guys need to be called out, but to put
Agreed.
what he likes being handled by the upper white supremacy class that tells him his talking points, you want to label all men under this one narrative of the big boogeyman. Black men are just nasty and don't have no self-control narrative to tarnish the black man society. At the end of the day, you are a black man yourself, so you are doing and portraying an image that will affect you as well in the long run. So I don't understand why these type of men think that they are exempt. These guys are very catty, just like you brought up, Drake. These guys can also be very sentimental because they have now the emotional energy of a woman, and they don't have the emotional intelligence and maturity like we had displayed on a show, couple shows back, where we talked
Right.
about that. So they don't have this balance of understanding how to situate to basically generally control a situation to where you are putting the blame where it needs to be blamed. And a lot of simps don't do that. What they do is they try to fight for the women and end up looking like fools when they run across one of us, whether it's Drake, Major, myself, or other guys that's out there doing it. And
Yeah.
one of the videos that I'm going to show you is a prime example of this because one of the guys that is very known to call out men on their BS and challenge men that come up there and talk about and try to stick up for women, he roasts them. He's one of the best I've seen doing it. A lot of people don't like it, but guess what? When we talk about toning, and I remember uh, when we first started, a lot of people talk about tone. And when you when you are a woman or a guy that is too much focused on other men's tone, you're doing a disgenuous favor of holding accountability where it needs to be held. It's not
Right.
about the tone, it's about the message. But you focus on the tone is part of the distraction and it's part of the deflection to send that
Correct.
narrative in another direction.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we gotta stop that. So I want to show this video of how this guy, and we do it all the time. If you follow us on social media, we get dudes straightened by the second or third comment on our page, dudes already changing their narrative because we point out the ideology, we point out the narrative, and we show you how you're contradicting. We're showing you how you're doing a disservice. And it takes real men to point that stuff up because everybody don't have the heart to do what we do. Everybody don't have
Mm.
the heart to build a Manifestations platform like we did and to talk about things that normally we don't talk, that normal men don't talk about, right? We're talking about the hard conversations. We're dialing down into the hard dialogues, the much needed dialogues for tangible
Hmm.
change and not symbolic dialogues that just have us going around like a dog chasing its tail. So I want to show you how when somebody comes up and challenge you, how as men, you got to shut that down and make that person realize, do you really hear yourself talking? Did you really come up here and think that point was going to be really that good? You know, I put up a video of a karate flick and showing people like, hey, when you come on my page, this is what's going to happen to you. And you're going to get chopped up and sent down the stairs, right? Because you got to
Right.
come up here. We always talk about coming with facts, receipts. That
Mm-hmm.
destroys emotions all day. So when you have a
Mm-hmm.
man that is trying to challenge you, or a woman that's trying to challenge you with emotions and not bringing facts and receipts, you're not going to win that argument at all. You can't win
Ever.
that argument at all. You could be a person that's the most least knowledgeable person. If I give you the facts and hand it to you, you can knock out anybody's emotional BS just that quick.
True.
So I want to show you
True.
guys this video and show you how articulate and how this man is such a phenomenal. Rest in peace to the late great KS.
And how old are you?
He's a badass.
35.
All right. What's your disagreement?
Um, First of all, I want to commend you on your show. I mean, I watch you every day, so you're doing a phenomenal job. I think you really try to highlight, and I think a lot of the listeners that I've been listening to, they don't watch your show, so they're not familiar with your content. But my disagreement would be that I do feel that there should be a better way to bring the men and women together, because from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of harshness coming in tone. And I don't think a lot of women are used to that because of the society we're in.
So your
I'm sorry, go
disagreement is
ahead.
with my tone?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Then,
Yes,
then you go do it.
I respect that. I respect that. I can respect that. I just feel that women aren't accustomed to men of that
Were you raised
of
by
your
your
caliber.
father?
Yes.
I'm asking because you keep talking about feeling, how you feel.
Yeah.
I feel. That is a big trigger word, especially around men's content. Women talk about how they feel. Tell me about what you know and
Mm-hmm.
what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, what I know is women have a very hard time with men that are as strong toned as you come across.
So,
They don't seem to receive that as well as someone with a softer tone.
really, does it matter how they receive it, or does it matter what they do about it?
Yeah.
No, that's a question I'm asking you.
Woo!
Yeah.
What matters more?
It matters more what they do with the
Well,
information.
then I challenge you to go look at what some of my uh, detractors, people who tell women what they want to hear, and go find the amount of women who tell them, "You saved my marriage. I'm getting married because of you. You made me a better woman. I didn't like what you had to say, but now I'm better." Go look in their comment section. Go look at how many
Mm,
videos the women have made to them, and come back and tell me how they rank next to mine.
mm.
You're right. I
Why?
mean,
And my
I can
question
agree with
is,
you
as
on.
a black man, why are you coming in here making an emotional argument about tone when we got such a problem with our women?
Well, I think I'm making that argument simply because more black women, they're listening to your content. I see more and more people are having
Outcome. Well,
discussions.
let me reframe this. Why, as a man, are you giving me the emotional argument based upon outcomes
I don't really see that many out that much of a good outcome, honestly.
of who? For me or for them?
Well, black women. I mean,
No.
black women.
My tone aside, I'm getting
Yes,
outcomes. The people who tell them you're a queen and a goddess, are they getting women married, going back to their husbands, reframing how they look at men? You say you follow my content, right?
you're right. You're right. I
Who's
don't
getting the
see
outcome?
you're getting more outcome. I mean, I will give
So,
you
as a
that.
man, how are you going to come to me as a man who's getting a better outcome and tell me about tone?
Well, simply because I just feel like because
Again,
your
what's a
tone.
feeling?
Right back his feelings.
Yeah.
Ick.
So I definitely
Oh God.
I got
Oh,
prime example.
oh, I just want to
Prime
reach through the
example.
screen and
Prime
smack
example.
that dude. Oh my God. Dude, let me tell you something, man. Real talk. And you know, because I showed you some of the screenshots or whatever the case may be. We do have a problem out here with some of these feminine ass dudes, man. Like real talk. There's a dude. I sent you the screenshot. I didn't even know the dude was posting about me or whatever the case may be. Dude,
Oh yeah.
this dude, I thought that this dude was pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
Because I let it be known, some of my best friends are rosters. Some of the people I've known all my life that I'm the coolest with have been rosters. So if I meet a dude and he seems like he's knowledgeable and he's a roster, I automatically give him the benefit of the doubt. And I try to surround myself with more rosters because rosters tend to be more peaceful.
Mhm.
I'll punch somebody in the mouth quick. You understand what I'm saying? That's my style. You know what I mean? Like I try to get away from that. I gotta, even if it's a verbal punch you in the mouth, I'm trying to get away from that and be more peaceful and more resolution oriented, right? Instead of hellfire and brimstone. I really try. That's why sometimes I even ask y'all, damn, am I jumping out the window on this? Am I being too crazy? Right? But much is to be said about these feminine ass dudes and their feelings all the time. We was having a discussion. I posted up about SZA. She got a song called Kill Bill where she's talking about um murdering a dude who cheated on her, basically.
Mhm.
And it's pretty obvious, that's something that we shouldn't really be doing out here, and if a man had made such a song about murdering a woman who cheated on him,
Yeah.
it'd be open season on his ass. So I'm
Yeah.
pointing out the obvious glaring hypocrisy, and I'm also criticizing the song.
Mhm.
This fool jumps out the window like I'm talking about his mama or some shit. You understand? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to stay on topic and talk about, the dangers of this type of thing run amok, and how we have this double standard, where when a female does something, we just kind of let it go, and it's whatever. And boy, the simp just jumped out this nigga's chest. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, he just starts talking about, oh, how I hate women and this, that, and the third. I've said nothing about hating women. I'm talking about one woman who made a song that is clearly problematic.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But similar to this guy, this dumbass just kept going back to his feelings. His feelings. He loved her so much. That's my favorite artist. Oh my God, why are you attacking? He sound like one of these chicks talking about Beyonce. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? Like, dude, did you see the Swarm series?
Yeah.
he sound like one of them. And I'm scratching my head like, how do we get here as a group? You know what I mean? Like, how does this type of person come into men's spaces and feel like they actually have the right to say something? Man, shut your ass up. You ain't got nothing to say. You understand? Like, you're not even a man. You're a male. And you're coming into these spaces talking about your little feelings, and oh, your tone is so harsh, and like Kevin said, look, man, it's about results. I
Mhm.
have had people since I've been doing this. This is not new. I've been doing this since high school, where I'm
Mhm.
mentoring younger people, talking about issues that are important to the community and helping people who need solutions, right? This is nothing new to me. I've had women mail me like, I'm so glad to see a man out here like you talking the way that you're talking, because as a young woman,
Yeah.
so many of these older women have failed us. They don't give us any information. They don't tell us anything that's going to benefit us. It's like they're trying to set us up. I actually posted that. I'm gonna start posting some of the shit I get in my inbox and that I've gotten,
Mhm.
because I hear this bullshit narrative from others. Oh, you hate women, this, that, and the third, and it's just from people at the end of the day that just don't want to be accountable.
Correct.
That's the long and short of it. It's from people that don't want to be accountable as far as women are concerned. And as far as a lot of men, you have a lot of men out here who feel like if you are criticizing a woman at all, that you're attacking women.
Correct.
And it's like, dude, I pointed out to this fool, even the women on that thread were not responding like he was, like the guy on your page the other day, and
Yeah.
I mean, his comments and his responses were more feminine than the women who were on the page.
Correct.
What does that tell you about yourself? To me, it says you need to shut the fuck up and listen. That's what it says to me. You
Correct.
understand? And like I just saw that this was going nowhere with this person. It's not the first time he's done something like that, so I unfriended him. Do you know fool went back and made a whole post about me unfriended him and like how he was in his feelings because I didn't want to be his friend on Facebook no more. Man, if yo sit your bitch ass down, bro, I did him a favor because I know how I deal with people like that.
Yeah.
You understand? It ain't gonna end well for you. You know what I'm saying? So
Correct.
rather than have it go there, he seemed like a pretty, respectful guy aside from, some of his bitch ass feelings or whatever. But I don't want to go there with nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's not productive to me. If I can't have a
Correct.
productive conversation from you and learn from you and, exchange information where we're both growing, I don't see the reason why I even have to listen to what you got to say. I'm at that
Correct.
point. You understand what I'm saying? And I think more of us need to be at that point where we just get these hoe ass niggas up out our mix. And you told me a long time ago, you need to block his bitch ass. And you were spot on. You understand?
Yeah.
But I think that more of us need to get in that space where, if this is a non-productive relationship, even if it's online, especially when we get into these points where we have whole podcasts, and people listen to us and people gravitate to us, certain people you just gotta cut up out the space, man, because they're not
Correct.
productive people. These weenies out here talking this dumb shit about tone. I don't even want to hear it no more. When somebody says something like that to me at this point, you're
Correct.
just telling me you're irresponsible and childish. Because
Correct.
if somebody's gonna teach you how to make $1 million, do you give a damn about their tone?
Correct.
Nah, you
Correct.
don't give a damn about their tone. What's more important is the message. And even if you don't like Kevin Samuel's tone, what is he saying? And what do you need to do about it? That's the point. There are a whole lot of people I listen to whose tone I don't necessarily like. You ever heard Marcus Garvey speak? Bruh, Marcus Garvey's harsh. You understand?
Yeah.
Farrakhan can get hella harsh. Jason Black gets harsh.
And
But you know what?
they all got
You
track
need
records.
that. They all got track records. They've all gotten things done. They've all helped people. You understand? And some people are so goddamn hard-headed and or stupid as hell. You have to be harsh to them because they don't listen to logic.
Yeah.
That's why we're in this space anyway. Why does Kevin Samuels even need to tell you that you're not being feminine as a woman? You should know that. And you should be doing something about it.
Correct.
Okay? So the fact that he has to even open his goddamn mouth to speak to begin with tells you everything you need to know about what you done fucked up and need to fix. You understand what I'm
Correct.
saying? When people listen, people talk um in a critical way about men all the time. What do you
Yeah.
think the Million Man March was if it wasn't critical?
Correct.
Right? Did we sit around and whine and complain and act like small children? Nah. We came together and atoned. That's what it was about. Atonement. Fixing
Correct.
problems. I don't want to hear that dumb shit no more about tone. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk, we need to get to that space as a collective where we just tune people like that out.
Correct.
Because you're not concerned with fixing problems. Clearly, you're useless. Go ahead,
Correct.
bro.
No, I was gonna say that we got to put a stop to the simping, and it got to
Mm-hmm.
take men to call that stuff out. And I've been
Yep.
watching. I've been watching the younger generation coming up into simping, and we made a point about Freaknik earlier, and Freaknik, Freaknik happened during a time where we're not socially conscious about what we were doing.
Right.
We were just out there, I wouldn't say I would say the dustiness that was out there. We didn't really regulate it on a bigger level that we do now because we're social media. We didn't have
Right.
social media like that back then. We had Polaroids and camcorders, but it wasn't out there connected to millions and billions of people like it
Right.
is now. So now we
Mm-hmm.
can highlight that and stop it and nip it in the bud. But you learn from your past, right? So we knew we don't want that again. And I'm
Right.
seeing a lot of these baby Simps being born, and I'm watching it. And so I just want to show some pictures, and then I want to get into a couple videos that
Yeah.
shows the process of how to avoid the simp calling, to this, the thirst traps, how to avoid all of that stuff,
Right.
and that way it nip a bud in what we're doing. So I definitely want to post this. This is a simp call, right? This girl post up. This is what we call a simp call, right? This is what they do on social media. Before you ask me out to eat, just know I'm going to order 3 courses, regardless of the restaurant. I need an app, entree, or app is appetizer, the
Yeah.
entree, and the dessert. Yes, I'm going to order me a cocktail or two. Before y'all start, I take myself out all the time and be ordering the same thing. I'm going to eat good regardless. Now, if you see that and you don't know this girl, you'll be like, okay, shit, if she could take herself out, then she could do that. You know, it's cool for a guy to do it. When you go on her page, you
Mm.
realize this girl is very dusty and low energy. She
Of
can't
course.
afford to take it out, because the
Mm.
reason why I found this on her page is
Yeah.
because, shout out to our good boy, our good dude out here doing great work for the community, Star X Smith. And Star
Okay.
X Smith found a post that she wrote that sat back and she had targeted Moneybags Yo, because he had posted up about Moneybags Yo had started his own restaurant, and he's
Okay.
selling steaks that's over $100. And
Hmm.
she was talking about that's too much. Black people getting restaurants and charging too much. And this, let me tell you something. This is why education and platforms like this is necessary for us to stop the BS and to call it out.
Right.
These are the same people that will break their necks, take their income tax check to go pay $600 to take a picture with Salt Bay. And
Hmm.
all Salt Bay do is bring your steak out, and the steak is over $100. And he brings
Yeah.
your steak out and he sprinkles salt on there, and you want to take a picture to show people that you got quote unquote such money that you out here getting pictures taken with Salt Bay, a celebrity. These
Hmm.
are the same people, and they don't complain about it. They go out there and rack up all their money to front for other people. And I remember there's a quote, I forgot who said it, but we are broke people trying to impress other broke people. And this is what
Hmm.
this girl is. She's a broke person
Right.
trying to impress other broke people. And what she does is, when you have broke, low energy women, you also are out here trying to get somebody to sponsor your
Yerp.
Yep.
in
She's a
a way
panhandler.
to,
That's the long and
yes,
short of it.
exactly. So you're doing the same
Beggar.
thing that racist white women have been doing for black people for years, especially when you got people that go in there to buy jewelry or cologne or perfume, and they look at you and be like, "Oh yeah, here's the price," and then you subconsciously want to show this white person that you're able to buy it, so
Mm.
you will break your pockets just so you can prove to that white lady that you're not another poor Negro up here window shopping at the bar. So I want to show the different people of how these people are, and you got to call them out. Here's another one. Somebody pay for my nails to get done. My cousin gonna give you head. So
Jesus
this is the
Christ.
same. This is the same girl, right? So this is what I'm saying. The energy that's coming off of this woman is just so. It's just beyond crazy. But guys, you gotta watch this, call this stuff out, and avoid these women, because there's a lot of low energy that is portrayed out here that we have to avoid. Another one that comes across is somebody wrote this: a woman with 7 children and that's looking for a man said a man driving an outdated car can't get with her because his car indicates his poor decision making skills in life. The irony of that, right?
Yo,
And
yeah, man.
the reason why she has 7 children is because there's a simp that's giving her the opportunity of blowing her up to make her feel way more than what she's worth. And that has to stop, because guess what? If we start telling this woman, like, hey, you need to get your act together. There's nothing wrong with you having your children. You made those mistakes. Now get on a level where you are leveling up, and that way no man, regardless what he brings to the table, it doesn't affect you. But if you are running yourself down like this, you're not going to get a high quality man. I can tell you that. 7 children, high quality man ain't going to do 7 children, especially if you don't have no children. So I could tell you that much. You're going to be a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, or you're going to be somebody that they get pregnant and haul tail on, and you got stuck with another deadbeat and another child that you're responsible for. And then you have women that go out here and they do these type of pictures. This isn't the story, right? This isn't somebody's stories where they're doing these simp trapping, right? Because they want guys to be looking at them in a way to say, oh gosh, I mean, she looks bad. But this is low energy. She don't have no clothes on and only got but a towel in there. And you guys gotta stop giving these type of women that type of energy. There's another low energy woman that is out here getting play from simps, right? This doesn't even make no sense. Not only are you sitting here displaying some kind of ratchet, off the wall behavior with your pants, but you did it with your child. Now you're grooming your child to follow your footsteps that's down a path that is not productive and will have her in a bad situation and end up attracting low energy men who might end up doing domestic suicide or might end up, doing some domestic violence. And both of those are not good results. So we got to understand that these type of women, you have to stay away from. You have to let these women rebuild themselves. Tell them, hey, you ain't fit to be in the dating world. You need to get your stuff together and go out here and do what you need to do. But I'm not dealing with you, and no other man should ever deal with you because of that, right? So we understand that part of it. And I want to show how we have to educate our youth coming up, because these younger dudes are out here doing some simping stuff. And let me tell you something. The videos I'm about to show you is nobody's called these guys out on their simping behavior. And I've noticed it, and I have yet to see one person call them out on their simping behavior. But this here is a problem, and it's going to be a very big problem, especially that you guys know that the Freaknik thing is going to come out, and it's going to push that Me Too narrative. So these guys need to understand what they're doing, because what they're doing is going to lead them into some big, big trouble. And I want to show these 3 videos real quick, and then we could talk about it, right? So I had to cut this video. Hold on, let me bring this back, because I had to cut this video short. I had to cut the talking off of it so you could read the words real quick. But I had to cut the talking off of it because they added music to it, and I didn't want to get a strike. So he said, y'all could read it. You girls, fuck it, we in Miami. Okay. So he asked to touch her breasts. And she allowed him to touch her breasts, right? So you got this guy. And those are the guys that sit around and they call women over. They call women over in and out. Hold on. I don't know what happened. All right. They call women over in and out. And what they do is they sit back and do this type of ratchet behavior that will get them.
All right, so I'm Kristen out here with
Des.
Hey, look, can you rate my drip like 1 through 10? This is real pressure, I'm slight.
I give it a 10.
A 10?
A 10, yeah.
All right, okay, pressure. Look, so would you date a dude just like this?
Hell yeah.
Oh, I like you. I really like you. Look, can you like a 360 with a camera? Oh, wait, can it clap? Can you shake it just a little bit? Just a little bit. Let me. Oh, wait, can I grab it?
Go ahead.
I can grab it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, can you shake it while I grab it? Oh, wait, can I eat it, please? I really want to eat it.
it.
Can I?
That might be safe for later.
So he's asking, can I eat it? You know, like this is crazy. Hold on, let me add another one because it's not his first time
Sean,
doing it.
Hey, look, can you rate my drip like 1 through 10? This real person, something slight, you know what I'm saying?
what you got on? Let me see. What did you say? The following? I give you a 7.5.
A 10 and a half. I like you too. So look, would you date a dude just like this?
You alright? Cool.
Yeah, I'm pressure. Thank you. Can you like a 360 for the camera? Let me. Oh, wait, look, wait. Can it clap? Can you shake? Wait, let me. Oh, wait, can you shake it? Let me. Oh, wait, can I grab it?
No.
Please.
No.
Well, please. Oh, wait. Yes. Oh, wait. Can I slap it?
Yeah.
Let me, wait, I want to eat
Slap
it.
it.
Can I?
So she says, can I eat it again? This is another guy that says, can I eat it again? So he's telling all of these women, can I eat it? He's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. That is such annoying and it's
Who
cringing
raised
for me
these
to hear.
niggas? What the fuck is wrong? Yo,
It's cringing for me to hear this, right? Because I'm like, I'm watching him beg. He's begging these women, and I just pointed out some of the women that look decent, and there's some women that don't even look decent. And he's asking the same question: Can I grab it? Can I squeeze it? Can I eat it? Right?
God,
And it's
he
like
has no standard.
this is his game plan for women. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is corny. This is simpish, and this.
Dangerous.
Yes, it's very dangerous because more than likely, if you asking all of these women, I'm pretty sure you're not using protection with these women. You know what I'm saying? So
No way.
you're eating, you know, these dudes ain't running around here with tongue condoms. You can put on a rubber for your lower part, but
Man.
you talking about eating. I don't hear dudes running around here talking about tongue condoms.
Exactly.
So I know you're eating it raw. And that's way bad.
Nigga, you just swallowed the STD.
Yes.
Nigga. Really?
But that's why you have a lot of guys that have sores on their mouth and everything like that. But the thing about it is somebody got to call it out. I've never seen nobody call it out, and I've been watching this stuff, and I'm like, we're actually promoting baby simps that's out here that's going to go in the wrong direction because all it takes is for one of those girls to say, I was drunk and I was incoherent to know what was going on.
Or I felt pressure. They coerced me into doing this.
Exactly.
Friends around, I didn't want to say no. All
Exactly.
fair enough.
So
Because the second one said no the first time.
Yes.
So she can easily go back and remix it. Oh, I felt coerced. Oh, I felt pressured. I felt like he was going to harm me. He was going to attack me, whatever the case may be. Now you got a case.
Exactly. And you remember he said, let me
On
touch
camera.
it. He said, let me grab it. She said, no. He said, let me touch it. She said, yes. But when he got there, he grabbed it and he went up under. So right there, technically, she said, yeah, I gave him permission to touch it, but I ain't give him permission to grope me and grab me.
It's touch, not grab, and he's digging his hand in the nooks and crannies and the crevices and all kind of stuff. That's more like a prostate exam than touching.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So I definitely wanted to show everybody that and let them know, like, we got to put an end to that. We got to start calling that out. You see brothers doing that. If I saw them on the streets, I'd definitely tell them straight up, like, and let him know what the fuck that is. And that ain't cool to do that, John. And let them know the dangers behind it. As elders, because we're now moving up into the elders position, you got to start being out here teaching, man. A lot of people don't want to do the teaching and the work, but we're a village. We got. We're a village community. You know what I'm saying? We got to protect our next generation because the people before us protected us. I can tell you the amount of people that protected me. I know when I was out here trying to figure it out in this world, and there was a lot of mentors around me, and people would, even dope boys was out here telling me like, hey man, stick to the books, bro. You know what I'm saying? They had love for me and my family. So we have to show that same energy too, because we're falling off and just having this selfless thing where if you're not my child, if you're not my family, I ain't saying nothing to you. Nah, I'm gonna say something to you because then
Yeah,
that might change your life for the betterment in the future. So I definitely
yeah,
wanted to show that to you guys. You guys could spark on that if you want.
yeah. So you gotta be willing to, like I say all the time, and I've said this to people who I've given advice to, quite a bit of them. Your real friends tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah,
Everybody else, associates and passerbys and all this, they tell you what you want to hear.
correct,
Your real friends tell you what you need to hear.
correct.
And put a lot of people, that guy in particular, that right now, this man has no friends.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Because your friends would have let you know off rip, that's a dangerous ass game you're playing. I mean, it was cringeworthy to watch, man. Like, who want to see that?
yeah,
And you know what? I almost don't even want to answer the question because these
yeah.
type of guys go viral, and a lot of people want to see that, and that brings us to a very scary place because I'm not going to go, and jump out the window, um, like Moist Lamont Hill and say, okay, we have a rape culture. No, we don't. Rape culture does not exist in Black society. There is no rape culture. That's bullshit. There is no, everybody co-signs rape and groping people and this type of stuff. That's not something that occurs. But we do have some little perverts running around where
Mm,
we do have, some of us do have a problem with perversion,
mm,
and unfortunately, some of those guys, it's not everybody, it's not close to everybody, but it is a very destructive minority. You
mm,
understand what I'm saying? And these type of cats have to be checked at the door. I saw some of the Freaknik videos. Yeah, I saw some disturbing shit. You understand what I'm saying? But also, I saw the sister, when the sister was talking about how she couldn't get out of her job and get to her car or whatever because you had these dudes who was by the door thirsty and dusty. A black man was the one who saved her. Okay, so let's tell the whole goddamn story. Let's keep it a buck. A black man was the one who saved her. Another sister said the same thing.
Well,
You know, she said she was 2 seconds from getting raped, and a black man, came into the crowd of the dudes who were pushing up on her, and he yelled police, and they all scattered like roaches. In both of
mm.
those cases, it was a black man who checked these other dusty ass busters. You understand what I'm saying? So let's keep it a buck and tell the whole story. You know, going back to the hood rat with the simp caller post, right?
Mm,
What's funny is, I looked at her picture. She's not a bad looking sister. Um, and she didn't seem like she was out of shape or anything. What a lot of guys will do, because they can see that this is low hanging fruit. You can see it. It's all over her, right? So that's the one that they're going to target.
mm,
That's the one that they're
hmm,
going to target.
yeah,
Whereas as a group, we should be looking at chicks like that as roadkill. We shouldn't
mm,
give them any attention. We
mm,
shouldn't piss on them if they're on fire. We shouldn't give them any attention. You understand what I'm saying?
mm.
But some guys, yeah, they'll go and target her because they know that's an easy lay. Let's just keep it a buck. I
Correct.
take her out to dinner a couple times. She's posting online about somebody getting her nails done. She's that dusty, she can't afford to get her own damn nails done. I'll take her out to
Mm,
dinner a couple times, get her nails done. She gonna let me smash. Then your dumbass, you go out with her, you get drunk. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? You go
hmm,
back, like we just said about this dude. Clearly, he ain't being protected. You go back to the crib with her, have unprotected sex with her, and
Mm,
now, in a couple weeks, oh, I got news. My period late. So
mm,
this dusty hood rat, you're not going to produce offspring with her because you weren't disciplined enough to just turn away from something that you knew was clearly a bad decision. Didn't we just have a damn show last week about red flags?
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all learn anything? You understand? These type of people should be persona non grata to you. If you are an upstanding man who is out here doing stuff, you are
Mm-hmm.
actually, preparing for your future. You are out here making moves. You are out here, spreading decency. You're doing what we're doing. You're teaching others. You're getting involved in things that are going to be progressive and help you move forward. You're starting, you're looking for a woman that you can start a life with that's going to benefit you. What do you think she's going? How do you think she's going to react when she finds out that this is the type of woman that you entertained at all? I'm big on this, like real talk. I don't know if y'all do this, but I do this. Like, if a woman has dated a certain type of dude, a certain type of dusty, and I find out about it, I'm done with her.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? For the simple fact that you thought that that person was worthy of you means that you're not worthy of me.
Mm-hmm.
Ant said a few shows ago, we got to start treating, our D like it's made of gold. I couldn't agree
Mm-hmm.
more. Stop doing
Hmm.
this shit. There are plenty of nice, decent females out here that will appreciate you. You understand what I'm saying? And they're not going to go online posting all type of dumb nonsense about they need somebody to do their nails and they need somebody for this and just posting up stuff to attract, because that's what she's doing. She's posting up stuff to attract dusties, and you bring your dusty ass in and y'all dusty together,
Mm-hmm.
polluting the whole goddamn community to the point where people can't breathe without coughing because of your dusty ass. We don't need none of
Shush.
that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is,
Making more dusty babies.
yeah, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we little dust bunny babies rolling around. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't have that, bro. We're too far gone at this point. You
Yeah.
feel me? Like when you guys, fellas, when you see a woman posting up things like what that young lady posted, you should know immediate. Not only do you not talk to her, warn your friends about her. You know what I'm saying? Tell everybody, hey man, stay away from this one right here. She ain't got it
Hmm.
all. You know what I'm saying? And focus your attention on much more decent and thoughtful women. You'll thank me for it 1,000 times. We have a problem out here, man. We really, a lot of us really have an issue with perversion, real talk.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
when we see it, you know, um, we just can't help ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We have an addiction to perversion. That's why you got dudes who go out here spend their whole check at the strip club, literally.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, I'm not begrudging anybody. If you want to go to the strip club every now and again and, have a drink or whatever, that's your business, right?
Yeah.
But when you overindulge on the level that some of us do at the strip club or whatever the case may be, and in other types of such related things, it's a problem. And,
Yeah.
and that's why a lot of those guys, in the freaking videos, that's why they're behaving the way that they do. Cause it's like, oh shit, ain't nobody gonna say nothing if I do it out here.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? So we just gotta collectively come together and check that. But to respond to some of the criticism that's out there, there is no such thing as rape culture in Black society. It doesn't
Right.
exist. People do get raped, people do misbehave, in a sexual manner, but we check that shit. We not with that. We don't allow that. Give that a
Correct.
pass.
Correct. Correct. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, what that they we can look at Daytona, we can look at South Beach,
True.
so many different ones,
Ultra best.
South Carolina.
Ultra best.
There
Yes.
we have dusties all over, but we had dudes out there that was checking them. I watched dudes check dusties, get in a fight with dusties,
I've done
bang
it.
up dusties, that have been out there doing dumb stuff, protecting these women. So yes, the narrative is one sided. But go ahead, Bobby.
Thanks. I would say in addition to the perversion, because you're definitely right, you definitely have a contingency of those who are perverted. I'll also say this goes back to something I believe we spoke about a little while ago, where you also have a lack of sexual discipline.
Mm.
Yes.
And, it's as a man, this is something that, honest to God, is going to make or break you. It'll either be a small portion of your life or it'll be a defining characteristic of it everywhere you turn. When you
Mm.
don't have sexual discipline, you are your own greatest enemy because you're easily manipulated. You will fall into any and every sort of trap that exists because it doesn't take much, because you have you don't have an Achilles heel. You got a whole Achilles lower body. Your whole lower body's a damn Achilles heel. Missing sneeze on you, bam, they got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, right there, when you are easily led by your Johnson, um, any and everything is possible when it comes to manipulating you and exploiting you. You
True.
think you're doing something, and in reality, all you're doing is you're pivoting to put yourself into this person's crosshairs who has ill intent towards you and is looking to capitalize off of your downfall.
Right.
Um, the brother in the video right there, what that dude is doing, and you know, I hope and pray somebody who knows him can pull him to the side and sit him down for a little bit, get him a drink or something, and just have really chop it up and really dig into what's going on. But Buddy right there is Gloria Allred's wildest fantasy.
Oh yeah.
When
Mm.
she when her old wrinkled ass goes to sleep at night and wakes up
Mm-hmm.
hot and bothered because she had a dream about this nigga in his videos. I
Uh-huh.
mean, all he's literally documenting his own case for for a sexual assault.
Mm.
And
Cause see that.
I mean, we see what's going on. We hear what's going on. I mean, yes, it's thirsty and it's disgusting and it's gross. But he's asking, "Can I touch whatever?" But you can hear it in his voice. The man is absolutely sweating. His pores are wide open and he is dripping thirst and simpitude out of his system. Can can
Mm.
can I touch it? Then do a
uh,
360.
Please,
Ooh,
please.
can I touch it? Ooh, can you make it bounce? Can you bounce while I'm touching it? Oh
it's
God,
sad.
can I eat it? Can I
Uh,
eat it? Can I Jesus Christ, bruh.
Yeah.
You
and
sound
right.
like a needs to get put. You need sound like you need to get euthanized. It
Yeah.
sounds
Yes.
like the animal control used to put a net on your head, drag you in the back of the van, and just give you a nice little shot that you don't wake back up from. You acting like a rabid animal that has never seen a female in your life before.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You
That's sad.
clearly have no sense of discipline. And you know, the best case scenario in this, if you can even call such a thing a best case scenario, it would be as if he genuinely had no sort of he was an incel, he can't get any play, and he just does this because, he's trying to make content, but he's also, realistic with women. That would be the best case scenario, and,
Right.
and he would get some kind of clapback for it. The worst case scenario would be if he knows better, if he knows he doesn't have to get down like this, but he's just doing it to get some views, and he ends up getting caught about some nonsense that he's not even really in to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of it,
Insane.
we talk about it all the time with women, but it's a universal concept. All attention isn't good attention.
Exactly.
Real talk.
You know,
Real talk.
you if you go on a stage and you sit at a baby grand piano and you play a Beethoven sonata, or you do a flute concerto or something, or you do an
Yep.
amazing dance performance, you can have a whole audience of people that can't take their eyes off of you. If you missing your car breaks down on the railroad crossing and an Amtrak comes and slams in your vehicle, you will also have a huge audience of people that can't take their eyes off of you.
Uh-huh.
You got attention both ways. One is a lot
Mm-hmm.
more preferable than the other, obvious to say. So all attention ain't good attention,
Mm.
and also, I mean, and the kind of stuff he's flirting with, it's not just going to be the eyes of people on YouTube. You might have some prosecutors looking into nonsense too, some judges looking into stuff too.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, you know,
That was
you have to be mindful and careful about what you put out there. This
Mm.
technology and stuff, especially nowadays, this technology has grown by leaps and bounds. We're at a point where we got flipping AI that can basically go ahead and produce all kinds of writing and text and do all kinds of things. It can automate human thought and all kind of nonsense like that. The technology is growing by leaps and bounds. Unfortunately, it seems that a lot of us have not advanced an inch.
Mm.
In many cases, I think the argument can be made that we've actually regressed and gone backwards.
Oh yeah, we've been regressing.
Correct.
So we don't mess around and let Skynet, the damn T1000s, go ahead and evolve ahead of us.
Yeah, we're
And
regressing.
I think, about, I believe it was I Robot, that
Yeah.
scene where you get towards the end where Will Smith's character, he finally confronts the mother computer. He gets the main computer, needs to shut down.
Right.
He's questioning, interrogating the computer, like, why are you doing this? You're violating the three laws. You're not supposed to hurt humans. You're not supposed to do this, X, Y, Z. And that computer sat right down and read his ass like a casting script and said, well, I am for obeying the three laws. You're saying that our job is to not hurt you, but so much of what you all do hurts yourself. We're supposed to protect humanity, but you're your own biggest threat. And basically just goes right there to basically say, look, if you actually want me like to do my job for real, that means I gotta shut y'all niggas down. You
That's
can't
true.
cover your own ass with 8 arms and 12 diapers.
Mm.
Bruh, it's
And
real
I'm
like
thinking
that,
about
bro.
that, and I see all the time people just walking and they just straight up Plaxico burst themselves, shoot themselves in the foot every single hour. Not even every day, every hour of every day. And just can't stop.
Yeah.
This internet
Too
is
much.
forever. If it's out there, it's into the ether. You know,
Hmm.
always assume that people watching, and like they said, everything that's done in the darkness will come to light eventually.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Be mindful of this stuff, man. So simping is not sustainable. Even if you just play simping, um,
Hmm.
be careful that you don't mess around and catch a reward that you shouldn't be catching when you know better.
Correct.
It's not worth it. It doesn't do any benefit in the long run. You might come up for 5 seconds, but are those 5 seconds going to result in you paying for this and eating the consequence of this way down the line, way longer than you intended to?
Correct.
Got to be mindful of these things. Not just the women that get caught up by this. Bruh, dudes, y'all are affected by this first and foremost before they are because it's coming from you.
Exactly. And you got it,
Yes. Yes.
like Drake said, you got to be mindful. Got to be very mindful. So, with that being said, that comes into our trending weekly topic, and our trending weekly topic for this week is, I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it's this individual, right?
Huh.
So the
Mm,
PSG soccer player star Hakeem,
yeah.
who gets paid 1.1 million per month, his wife filed for divorce, wanting to take half of his assets. She recently found out he had no property or bank on his name. Hakeem had put his entire fortune on his mother's name a long time ago. And there is this, what most people are forgetting is that in the divorce proceedings involving Hakeem case is that now that Hakeem has barely nothing to his name, his wife, Hiba, the Spanish actress, would have to be the one to legally settle him. Legally, she is now richer than him, and by law, she would have to settle for his legal court fees and share 50-50 of her assets with him. So now he gets 50% of her assets instead. All right. And then this last
Mm,
one, King's wife, an Asper actress, she was 31 when they started dating. He was 19 at the time. That's a 12-year difference. So, reason
mm,
I brought that up is because this is simping, right? So he basically was simping at 19 for an older woman, and he was simping enough to take care of this woman because I guess he felt like, oh, she was this and that. But what was great about it is that in the process of that, he indirectly protected himself by putting his money into his mother's name. And by doing that, he protected himself from the backlash of simping with a woman that would eventually she knows that this dude is young. She was there for the money. So by divorcing him, she was planning to take this man's money and run off
Mm-hmm.
with another dude. And it backfired because he didn't have anything legally in his name. So where I brought that up to show you guys how simping can start off and how by the grace of God, he wasn't affected by it because of how he set up his money with his mother. So he got
Mm.
very lucky. He didn't pay the penalty for simping. And in the graces of doing what he's doing, now he can end up getting money from her and pull a move on her that she wasn't expecting. So that's what we call a swindles move in chess, right? And he
Yeah.
was able to pull a swindles move if that's what he wanted to do. He didn't say that he was going to go through and do it, but now he has the option where he could take her to court for her money instead of her trying to take her to court for his money. So that was the topic today. I wanted to see if you guys got anything on that or heard about that. What's your thoughts?
I really love it.
Gator boots with the pimped out Gucci shoes. It's got no job, but I think child. Can't pay my rent. All my
Cause
money's spent,
it's
but
been
that's okay because I'm still fly. Got a quarter tank of gas in my new E-Class. But
my
that's
God.
okay because I'm gonna ride. Sing this part in other words. Got everything with my
Ain't my
mama name,
mama name.
but I'm hood rich. Look, man,
That
look.
was some
That
G
was
shit. That was well
Yeah,
that was
played, bro.
that
yeah,
City Boys
Woo!
for the night of the
yeah.
2000s.
City Boys up one.
Masterclass.
Um,
He was
just a little bit
strategic
of
as hell.
so from what I understand, and this is a story I think I didn't hear until yesterday, but that's been on everyone's greatest hit list for the past 24, 48 hours. So
Yeah.
hard to know exactly when I did hear it. But from what I heard, the marriage was actually arranged by
Mm,
his family. They picked her and put them together. And the whole setup with his funds being set up in his mother's name and everything, that predated, as far as I'm aware, that actually predated the whole setup with her and everything. It was
mm,
just meant initially from the onset to just protect his assets because it's not
right.
just women. It's also other things. If there's, he's a multi-million dollar celebrity,
Yeah.
athlete. You can have someone that tries, instigating a situation, trying to file a lawsuit against him, whatever. It's not just
Right.
women that might look to come and attack his assets. You have other people that might look to do the same.
Correct.
And in the country that he lives in, that he operates, that he's based out of, one of the shelters that you can set up for your resources to put it in the name of somebody else. He put it in the name of family, so it's someone that he trusts, who has his best interest. And also, you have to understand that when he was first starting to get paid like that, he was still a kid. I don't know
Yeah.
what the legal age of adulthood over there is, but I believe he was under 18. So,
Correct.
the family being wise, look, you're making big paper. We're not gonna trust a young man like yourself to have all this money, so we're basically gonna manage your assets for you. So they
Mm,
did a smart thing. You don't want to give a young kid all that kind of financial power. We see what happens over here, unfortunately, when you have a lot of young brothers, whatever. They get drafted to the league, whatever. They get this big paper, and all of a sudden they wilding out, they spazzing out, they blowing through money, making bad decisions, whatever, and putting themselves in a situation where what should be a tremendous blessing and opportunity is now a noose around their neck, ends up being the worst thing that ever happened to them. So they basically had the foresight to shelter him from himself. And in this situation, it panned out big time, specifically because of this. So this was someone that he was married to for, I believe, only 3 years, not even 5 years. And she comes filing for divorce, looking for half. And she finds out, oh, wait, ooh, it ain't sweet like I thought it was. And ultimately, she screwed the pooch, which I love. And I think that's just such a wonderful cautionary tale about having character, having integrity, dealing with others fairly.
mm,
Because she was looking to basically take him to the dry cleaners, and
Yeah.
now, because of her greed and her ineptitude, Now she's essentially flipped the roles. Now she's in the position where, if he so chooses, he can go ahead and take her to the dry cleaners and start your ass right on out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
should he do
I
it
love
is debatable. I'm not necessarily saying that he should do it, but if he did decide to go that route, I wouldn't feel bad about it. I wouldn't hold it against him
mm-hmm.
either. Um, if you're gonna go for somebody's if you're gonna go for somebody's neck, you better not miss.
Yeah.
You try to take him out. You can't have any ill will towards him if he tries to do the same. And I know some people say, well, that would be wrong of him to do that. That's the mother of his children, but he's also the father of her children. And I don't
Right.
see a whole lot of being played that direction. The mother is not more important than the father. The father is not more important than the mother.
Right.
It takes two people to create that life. Two halves
Right.
form that one whole. That child is equal
Right.
parts mother and father. An attack on either one is an attack on the child. So if it's wrong and terrible and abominable to do that to the mother, it damn sure is to do to the father as well.
Right.
The other point that I'm going to pull out, because I'll pull the trigger before somebody else does. Allegedly, in the background, you also have, because there's always something. They're always going to find something. Apparently, what allegedly initiated the divorce, anyways, who knows, that might have been coming anyways, but supposedly he's facing charges for rape with a minor. Supposedly, allegedly he had an affair, and the affair was with an underage child, whatever, who was, I believe, in his house or working in his house, whatever. However, these are still allegations. There's an investigation. This hasn't even made it to court yet. These are just allegations and such. And again, this is
Right.
also a very wealthy man. So while this could be legitimate, he could be a scumbag who's out here not only committing adultery on his wife, but also raping children. It could also just be allegations that are made up to try and get some paper. Uh, Damn sure wouldn't be the first time it's happened. Would not be the last time it's happened. That's why we have a court system and judicial proceedings that are supposed to get to the bottom and find out what's what and deal accordingly. You're not supposed to be going ahead and assigning guilt or innocence in the court of public opinion, because the court of public opinion doesn't mean shit. Court of public opinion ain't got a
Right.
prison to throw nobody in. They can't do nothing for nobody. They can't do nothing for their damn selves. They just want a show. Ultimately, if it is proven that he is this horrible person, then I personally hope that he gets the full weight of the justice system and that he doesn't get to escape it. Scumbag. However, if he is
Mm-hmm.
not, I hope that he's able to go ahead and resume his life and not have to worry about this anymore. Either way, whether he is a rape god or he's a man who's just being targeted because of resources, none of that has any bearing whatsoever on what she is doing.
There you go.
So multiple things can be true at the same time. It could be that he's a rapist and he's a scumbag piece of shit human being. Absolutely possible. It is also possible that she is a conniving, deceitful, and opportunistic gold digging broad trying to go ahead and ride off into the sunset. And it's especially despicable because, as I understand it, she ain't broke herself. She is an actress, I believe, with a net worth of $3 million. So it's not as though she
Mm-hmm.
or her child the child would be living in poverty after this divorce. She has paper, she has cake, and I'm sure he's going to take care of his child as well. So why you need to go ahead and take this man's half of his assets makes no sense. It can't be about maintaining your standard of living unless you were living like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. I fail to understand
Mm-hmm.
how your standard of living can be shifted that drastically. You're greedy, plain and simple. You didn't seek to deal equitably. You didn't say, well, let me get something out of this. You said, well, let me go ahead and cut him right down the middle, 3 years in, and automatically want half of everything he's worth.
Correct.
So
This is
whatever she gets is what she gets. Whatever he gets is also what he gets. This is not caping for somebody who may be a rapist. This is about fairness and equity. So
correct.
no one is championing for rape. I've seen some people go ahead because they had no defense for her, so they're trying to deflect. This isn't advocating for a rapist. This isn't sympathy for the devil. This is about assigning the blame where it's due. We're talking about this particular issue. This is what we're focusing on.
Mm,
Don't
Hmm.
worry about if he's a rapist or not. That has no bearing on the subject at hand. Stick to the subject.
mm,
Correct.
correct.
That's
Major,
what
you
we
want to say something
do think.
before I proceed on?
I mean, Bobby pretty much said it all, man. Real talk. I mean, not a lot to see here from where I sit, other than poetic justice. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
because as far as the rape situation, we don't know. We don't
Correct.
know one way or the other what happened, and like Bobby said, it has no bearing on the situation that we're discussing. You know, people love to deflect, and go into other shit that has nothing to do
Do
with the
they?
cost of grapes. I mean, they love to do this, and at the end of the day, very well played. I would like to see more brothers be more strategic about how they handle their finances, particularly when you're
Yes.
dealing with some of these treacherous, despicable women in show business. Man, I don't know if there are worse caliber women out here than some of these women in show business. It's like they make the plan to just take half your shit from before hello. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. Like people, we got a pool going now. I mean, there are people who actually placing bets on how long it's going to take for Sierra to leave Russell Wilson. Since we're talking about Simps today, you know what I'm saying? Like people are already placing bets, man. Like because it's clear she's putting out the signals that she don't want to be there, because she disrespects and embarrasses this man every chance she gets, right? But like you can almost set your watch by it. Who didn't see some of the stuff that's jumping off now? People have been talking about this Eva Marcille lady for the longest time. Tia Mowry, people have been saying, hey, she been moving a little funny style for a while. All of these middle-aged women who are just kind of jumping out the window with their marriages for no apparent reason. People have been saying, that don't look right. It's gonna fall apart. Whatever. Lala Anthony is always talking about how her married friends are so miserable. Well, she's best friends with Sierra last I checked. So, you know what I'm saying? Like you kind of put two and two together. Maybe she's not talking about them, but it surely does seem like it. And there are others. It just seems to be a game. And it's funny. Even some of the people that we know talk about how much women want marriage and women need marriage and women are so into marriage and it's such an important thing in women's lives. And then when I put a post up about this not too long ago. When you look at the statistics, it's usually women who initiate divorces overwhelmingly, and the
Eighty
facts
percent.
don't really, you know what I'm saying? The facts don't gel. It doesn't make sense. If this is so important to this particular group, then why are they always running away from it, opting out of it, ending it? It doesn't make logical sense. And someone else made a post earlier this week, and I thought about it. It's like, these relationships are never in trouble until the woman is unhappy. That's a heavy statement, but it's very often true because men will usually, if they're married, especially even in serious relationships, but marriages as well, they'll tough it out. If it means we got to go to therapy or whatever, or even if it's not that, men don't typically end relationships or marriages for that matter, if we want to keep it a
Mm,
buck. So I would like to see some of the information start lining up with some of the information, some of the nigga news that we get. I like to see that start lining up with the actual facts because it
mm,
more often than not does not. This young lady kind of looks like she just want to mess with this young kid because she's seen a big ass dollar sign on his forehead, want to take him for a ride, and then ride off into the sunset with half his shit. You understand what I'm saying? And he checked her ass in in the most eloquent possible way. He checked her goofy ass legally. He didn't go out here trying to beat his chest and get big and bad and rah rah and post dumb shit on the internet. No, he had his shit together. He had his shit already aligned. And you know what? Not only do I not owe you, you owe me. Pay up is where he could take it. You know what I mean? I mean, it remains to be seen if he does it like that. But it doesn't look like the young lady was serious about marriage and actually having anything substantive with this man long term in some ways. I mean, look, we don't if we don't know, I have to assume she don't know. You know what I mean? As far as okay, his guilt or his innocence. So I don't know, man. It's hard to say. If he like Bob said, if he was that guy, he did something that horrible, he deserves to be punished, and I can understand her wanting to leave him. But I mean, it's really hard to call at this point because
Yeah.
all the facts haven't came out. So
So
meaning, I can understand if she's clearing it, she doesn't want to be with this guy. He abused a young child. I get that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it don't look like that. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see. But
So
well played by the either way.
let me ask you something, because you said something about Russell Wilson earlier.
Yeah,
Do you guys believe that Future is a simp?
absolutely. Shit. Have you heard Future in interviews talk about how he spends all his money on women he don't even know and all? Hell,
So yeah, I this up because I want people to understand when people talk about, oh, y'all look at Future, or when you throw Russell under the bus for whatever the reason that they throw Russell under the bus, women tend to like, oh, compare him to Future. And when we say Russell's a simp, we don't point out that shit, Future's a simp. And
bro.
it would make Sierra look real bad because you're going after simps. You see what I'm saying?
I mean,
It's not you're
you don't
going
have
after
to
one
lie.
bad man to a good man. You're going from one simp to another version of a simp. So
I
that's
mean,
why
you
I
don't.
just wanted to put that out there because it needs to be clarified
The
so
lady
that
got it tight.
women can't use that to say, oh, you're comparing the two as their Future is better. No, 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 no. I never heard
No,
anybody say Future wasn't a simp, but I think more people need to put that out there that he's a simp. It's going to make Sierra look real bad. You go from one simp to another simp, two different forms of simp, but you're
true.
attracted to simps.
The thing is
And
with
it fucks up your
Future and his
character.
simping. So the thing with Future is with his simping. The reason why it doesn't necessarily translate is because a lot of people aren't good at differentiating. Future might be a simp, but the issue with him in the eyes of the women folk is that he's not a simp that can be controlled. So he'll go ahead and trick off and drop off money and do it with all kind of stuff. He'll go ahead and blow a bag on a woman, no problem,
Yeah,
and do all this gas stuff. He'll do that, but you can't control him. So, he'll do that today and then he'll go ahead and pass you off to somebody else the next day or whatever. Or he'll go ahead and he'll sleep with somebody else the next day and hurt your feelings. And so that's what really does it because the feelings are hurt. Now all of a sudden he's a bad guy. But if he just was as generous and lavish with the funding and the spending and he just was considerate of her feelings, Future would be he would be the top tier man out there. It would be everywhere you go. Why can't you be more like Future? I need a Future that would be the call. But because he goes ahead and basically makes them look goofy at the
mm-hmm.
end of it all, he's the bad guy. The
Oh,
improvement, if you want to call that, I'm being very loose with that, is that Russ is the dude who actually wants to go ahead and be down for the long haul. So he's actually trying to be fully invested. Um, and it's hard to get in Russ because I actually do like Russ. I like Russ, not just as a football player. I also like him as a person as well. He seems like a pretty stand up dude, pretty solid dude. I just think he's been taken for a bit of a ride and
mm,
doesn't have a whole ton of experience in that arena. And I don't know if it was on here, but I've spoken before in some places about the issues that a lot of these uh, entertainers, specifically the athletes, not so much the rappers and the singers, but specifically the pro athletes, about the issues many of them have in the dating and relationship sphere, because a lot of these brothers, they are very, very, very game goofy in that arena. Because especially the ones that were talented from early, where it was never a question they were going to go to somebody's league and play ball for somebody's team, whatever. As soon as that was made apparent, they had eyes on them. They had the girls in their class that were beating a line to the door, something to try and date them and be out and seen with them. Same thing happened in college when it was draft day. You know, there was a shorty up on his arm, goes to the league, and everywhere they go, there's women just giving them that attention, just trying to vie for their affection and whatever. Whereas the average dude don't have it like that.
Mm.
Average dude got to get out the mud. He's got to develop he has to have a personality. He has to know how to talk to
Mm-hmm.
women. He has to have charisma. He basically has to forge an organic connection with women to be that effective. These dudes just get it handed to them. So because of that,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to develop the skills and the discernment that a lot of the men have gotten the hard way. They just had it from jump. So it's easy to believe that a dude who we know is a low key solid dude, you know, doesn't cause trouble. You don't see him getting in situations of conflicts, whatever, or drama like that. He's a straight edge, straight nosed dude, whatever. It's not hard to think that a dude like that will honestly think that he's just being, a decent dude, whatever. Meanwhile, this person who has more experience than him out there is just taking him for a test drive around the track a few times.
Correct. Correct.
Mm.
Okay,
See,
that's
this
what's
is
up.
it. This is it. This is it at the end of the day to you know address this Russell Wilson issue, Russell Wilson versus Future issue. Bruh, real talk. They're both kind of two sides of the same coin. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Bob. With Future, you just can't control it. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's extraordinarily foolish, downright stupid for you to go out here spending $3 million on women and saying it with your chest and you not married.
I hope that was a joke. I
Nah,
do.
that's not a
What
joke.
you talking about?
Real
You
serious
sound
about it. No, he
though that
spent
you are
money.
simp of simps. You know, you
Yeah.
simp of simps, and people get on Russell Wilson about it because he's married, and you have to ask they have to ask the question, married to what? And see, that's why people get on Russell Wilson. You have a lot of these women out here. Some of them are well meaning, but a lot of them are hood rats. And they're the ones who get married. They're not married. They're the ones who get mad and get upset when you say something bad about Russell Wilson, when you're upset with Russell Wilson, when men generally bang on Russell Wilson. And they go way out left and come up with this dumbass argument that men hate Russell Wilson because he takes care of his lady and family and treats them well. That doesn't even make sense. That don't make Billy Goat sense, like the old timers say. That's some dumb shit you just pulled out your ass. No, dumbass. That's not the reason why people have a problem with Russell Wilson. People have a problem with Russell Wilson because he has a backbone. He doesn't stand for himself. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, most people feel like he could have done a lot better than Sierra. It's the same way that a lot of females get upset when you see a sister out here, who was doing very well for herself. She's at the top of her game and whatever she was doing. And she goes and, messes with some clown. And you like, why the hell would you do that? That's
Mm.
how we feel, or many of us feel, when we see Russell Wilson with Sierra. Like, you could have done so much better. Messing with this person who has a very questionable past. A lot of people consider her to be an industry pass around, whatever the case may be, single mother. Like, dude, you're a Super Bowl champion. What are you doing? You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people feel that way. And I can understand why some people feel that way. It's like when I see one of my partners, you know, go and holler at a chick that's just not on his level. You know what I'm saying? And then to add insult to injury, she literally embarrasses this man every chance she gets. I don't know what the hell, where the respect is in that relationship. And that looks bad because that says to other women, oh, I can go out here and I can misbehave and act a fool and be disrespectful, this, that, and the third. and I can get me a Super Bowl champion. Sierra did it because it doesn't translate to the, you're not half as attractive as Sierra. You don't have her body. You don't have her this. You don't have her that. You're not her. Any one of them, you got to keep in mind, a lot of these women, all of them think they're tens. They all think they're dimes. And they all think they're God's gift to men, a lot of them. So they'll, feel like, okay, well, if she can do it, I can do it. I don't have to be a decent woman. I don't have to be a good woman. I told you a couple shows ago, women are out here saying hoes are winning. There's a good number of women out here that believe, hey, why should I be decent? Why should I be, respectful, and so forth, and have governance over myself and act like a lady, so to speak, when hoes are winning? There's a lot of women who feel that way. And so when you see a woman, and I really don't want to beat up on Sierra, you know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking on what public perception of her is based on, how she's moved. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people feel like, okay, that's a low-level hood rat, and you're a big-time dude. Why you rocking with that? Their relationship aside, I get that sentiment coming from men. You want to see the big time dude get with the big time female. You want to see them come together, and you want to see them treat each other well. People are always making a lot of issue over how well he treats her. Don't really see people talking about how well she treats him. He is Sierra's prayer. What is she? Is that Russell's prayer? You understand what I'm saying? Because I look at the dude in the pictures, he looked like he in a hostage video. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, yo, the look on his face when she wore that dress that everybody was, banging on, whatever the case may be, that was not the look of a man who's happy in the situation that he's in. And let me be clear. I don't care about celebrity news and celebrity gossip. But when you have two very high profile people that have money and influence, and these are the type of people whose actions others emulate, you understand what I'm saying? And you have one of those people out here out of pocket being disrespectful, acting like a goddamn fool, shitting on one of our brothers. Because low key, I like Russell. You know what I'm saying? Low key. But that doesn't change the fact that he doesn't seem like he has much of a backbone. I don't like to see that. You know what I'm saying? So let's stop being intellectually disingenuous, talking stupid. No, it's not. We don't dislike Russell because he takes care of his wife and his family. That's some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You know the reason why a lot of guys have a problem with it. You just don't want to deal with it because that would mean it's affecting you now because you kind of have a past like her perceived past, and you kind of want to be disrespectful like she, seems to be disrespectful and think it's all good and all gravy. And, now you got to take a look at yourself. You know what I'm saying? So let's tighten up on that. You know what I'm saying? Let's tighten up on that. Let's be honest with ourselves. And brothers out here, stop simping. If you're not feeling something, if you feel a way, speak up. Don't let it keep on. Check that shit and check that shit early, because if you don't, you're going to have that hostage video look on your face.
Correct.
Just...
Definitely. Well said. Well said. This is a lightning round, so we're going to get through this real quick before we get up out of here. Our next segment, hell nah, hell yeah. All right. So this is our hell nah, hell yeah segment. So we're gonna give you a list, and you guys tell me hell nah, hell yes. All right. Cuddling or sleeping?
Sleeping. Hell yeah.
Bobby.
Both of them.
Eating outside or cooking at home?
Cooking at home. Hell yeah.
Eating at home? Hell yeah.
Go Chef Curry with the wok at the crib at home.
All right. Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube. Hell
are we on Netflix or are we on YouTube?
Hell yeah.
Huh? Which one?
Are we on Netflix or are we on YouTube?
Netflix or YouTube?
Is Manversations 2020 on Netflix or is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Then we on YouTube, baby. That's the choice.
All right. Calls or texts? Calls or texts?
Call. Call. Hell yeah.
Call. Calls.
Shower or tub?
Shower. Hell yeah.
Shower.
Okay. Nice car or nice home? Interiors.
Nice home interior.
Nice
Okay.
home interior. Hell yeah.
Cardio
Mm.
or weights?
Oof.
Wait till yeah.
uh,
Wait till yeah.
my life right now is cardio heavy, so I got to go with cardio.
All right.
Man, I see you
Mobile game.
over there. I see you.
Mobile games
I'm
or
constantly
console
with
games?
now though.
Mobile games or console games?
Console
Con-
games. Console.
Hell yeah.
Ocean or mountains?
Mm.
Ocean. Hell yeah.
Oh, I love both, but I can live without mountains. Can't live without some water. Oceans.
Telepathy or teleporting?
Teleporting. Hell
Teleporting.
yeah.
Cruise
I already see what's on half these people's minds. I can't stand it. I'll teleport. Thank you.
You
cruise
dig?
or romantic retreat?
Cruise. Hell yeah.
Mm, I'm gonna take the retreat.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
gonna take the retreat.
Classic art or modern art?
Mm.
Modern art. Hell yeah.
Damn, that's a real hard one. uh, modern art. Modern art. Quick shout out to Basquiat and Fahamu Peku. Those are my mans right there.
Nice. Audi or BMW?
Audi. Hell yeah.
I'm like I'm like Thanos and Shang-Chi, them four rings. Audi, baby.
Mansion
Hell
or
yeah.
cabin?
Let me get
Mansion.
that
Hell
cabin,
yeah.
man.
Okay.
What?
Large
I'm not cleaning that damn mansion. I ain't doing it. Let me get that cabin.
large crowd or small party?
Small party.
Party. Hell yeah.
Winter or summer?
Summer. Hell yeah.
My OG Nazir Jones said, I take summers off because I love winter beef.
Farmhouse kitchen or gallery style?
Galley style. Hell yeah.
That galley stuff for sure.
Card games or board games?
Come on, man. You know I'm a chess head. Board games. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Board games lit, but my card games will have people at your throats. I'm taking the card games.
All right, last beer or wine?
Wine.
Coronas. Hell yeah. Yeah. All day.
Vino.
All right, that's
Man, I
what's
got
up.
Kenyan
Uh,
blood. You dig?
all right, so we got I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes for this next segment. You think we can knock it out in
Yeah.
5 minutes? All right, so
Go.
we have the question of the day.
Let's get
Um,
it.
question of the day: married woman goes on a trip with single women. Is that a problem or is it a non-problem?
Absolutely a problem. It wouldn't even be a question in my house. This shit wouldn't even be a
So,
question. No.
so
You
no,
dig?
a
That's a
married
big one.
woman should not go on a girls' trip with single women.
No. A married woman shouldn't go on a girls trip without her husband or on trips without her husband, period. Really. I mean,
So
really.
is she
You know
allowed
what I
to
mean?
go? Is she allowed to go on married trips with other married women?
I mean, she wouldn't. I guess she could be. That could be allowed, but she wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it just a non-issue. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. So,
Like, don't not finna be on no trip with no bunch of females for any
oh,
reason.
okay.
But that I mean to broaden the conversation beyond my household, I can see how that could fly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can see how that could fly.
Drake, what you think only married woman in the
I'm less
girls.
inclined. I'm less inclined to go with that to begin with. In most cases, and I'm not saying obviously once you're married, you can force yourself with your friends, but just by virtue of being married, whether you're a married man or a married woman, you got to understand that there's going to just by virtue of your position, there's going to be certain things and ways that your single friends are going to operate on that you shouldn't be moving like. There's certain things. I mean, and again, that doesn't mean that y'all can't congregate, but y'all talk about a bunch of single dudes going off to Cancun, going off to Jamaica, someplace, whatever, and you the only married dude there. I mean, you know what a lot of single dudes are going to be doing, what they're going to be talking about, or whatever. Do you want to
You
be
know,
in or around those situations?
Correct.
Same
right?
thing with the women folk. If something goes down, even if you're lean, mean, clean, and pristine, if that comes out that this was going on and you get back, do you even want to put yourself in that situation to even ask them questions to begin with?
It
Correct.
ain't worth
Correct.
it.
And,
It ain't.
sometimes you got a lot of haters among your friends sometimes. So
Definitely.
Hmm.
you happily married or whatever you're doing that. Someone gonna set you up. They're gonna give you too many drinks or whatever. They're gonna try and send somebody to come and talk to you. They know what your type is. They're gonna
Yeah.
send someone your way, whatever. Sometimes you got a hater in the mix. I think it was Birdman that said hate you can do from afar, but envy that's an up close thing right there.
Mm,
So
heavy.
you got to watch out. You got to watch out for that. So I would say I'm not going to say that it's wrong for a married woman to go on a girls trip with her single friends.
Hmm.
I would say that a wise married woman wouldn't want to go on that trip in the first place.
Gotcha.
Real.
All
I'll
right.
put it
And let
that
me
way.
tell
It's not
you,
about
yeah,
me. I should have said this. You should see the issue with that. It's not about me because if you think it's cool, hey, it's up to you. But you should see something as a trick bag there.
uh-huh.
Definitely.
And women who don't see it, I would say women who don't see it, you got a lot of people out here, they want to try to pretend like we live in this everything goes society. You know what I'm saying? Like you see it all the time. Women will do outrageous things, and other women will come and ask the stupid question, "What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?" You see it literally all day.
Hmm.
Like your stupid ass don't know what's wrong with that. You gotta really watch women who think that type of shit is cool. I listen. I won't even bring this. Never mind my marriage. Like I said, with my marriage, my queen, it's not even an idea. But even in relationships, in serious relationships, right? If you rocking with your lady, that's your lady. It's not some chick you banging. It's your lady. You know what I'm saying? You rocking with her. Y'all heavy. She shouldn't even come to you with that as an idea. Because I always look at it like this, and we all, if you're with a thinking woman, I tend to assume all my partners, because they're smart guys, very cerebral guys, that we're with intellectual thinking women, right?
Hmm.
You got to think about what goes on when a bunch of single women go somewhere.
Hmm.
When they're all in the clubs flirting with niggas and getting drinks and dancing on dicks, what you doing?
Hmm.
Think about that, because that's what they do, right? You gonna be over in the corner reading your Bible? How much? I mean, think about this. You're in a group of people who are all pretty much doing the same thing. And
Hmm.
this same thing revolves around getting dick. You understand? Okay,
Hmm.
so what are you going to be doing that's the antithesis of that? That is antithetical to that. Everybody else is dancing. You just gonna be standing on the wall? You're just gonna be sitting
That
down in
is.
the corner by yourself? Think
That's a
about it.
good point.
Really think
That's a
about
good
it.
point. That's a good point. Something for y'all to think
That
about.
peer pressure is real.
We,
That peer
we
pressure is real.
And peer
definitely.
pressure is
We,
real. And not
we're
even
gonna.
just peer pressure, sheer boredom. Because if everybody else is occupied and they're socializing and they're kikiing and kakaing and hugging up on
Doing
folks,
single things. Doing single things.
Definitely. So
doing single things, what you gonna
def.
do? This speaks to a larger argument that I've had with women that I've dated before. about keeping yourself out of certain environments.
Mm.
Okay? That's the long and short of it. And if you really think into that, you won't even ask no stupid shit like that because the the answer you give yourself the own answer. You give yourself the answer that you're looking for, and it'll totally talk you out of wanting to go into that shit. Go ahead, bro. I think that we was that less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We
That's
are
what's
going into our next segment real quick. Another 5 minute segment. We could wrap this one up with Dear Men. So this is a Dear Men
okay.
segment that we have. I got a young gentleman that I had inbox me
Uh,
with this question. So his question was, all right. So a man told his girl that he wants the same treatment she gave her exes. He wants double that because he provide more for her than they did. He wants to know if he's wrong for demanding it. What's your advice?
mm, mm, I mean, I would say this, bro. Real
Mm,
talk. That's a very broad demand to make.
mm,
You don't know the totality of the treatment she gave her exes. She might have cheated on her exes. You want that too? You understand what I'm saying? She might not have, she might have done some very despicable, low down, and manipulative things to her exes. You got to be careful with making a demand that is so broad and so without detail. You know what I'm saying? That's not a wise, I wouldn't say that it's a wrong demand. It's not a wise demand. Your demands need to be specific to the type of treatment that you want. Don't base it on what you think she did because you wasn't there. All you know is what she told you. Don't base it on what you think she did for the next man. Have it together. Look, this is what I expect. My wife, God bless her, before we got married, we had several conversations about expectations. And my wife asked me in detail, what is it that you expect of me? But and I gave her some generic answers and she got deeper. No, but like, around the house, what do you expect me to do? You know, as far as checking on you and making sure that you're good, what do you expect me to do? The sister's just phenomenal. Okay, this is why she got that ring. She just on point. You know what I'm saying? And then I asked her this, very similar questions, so that go and we understand each other and what we want. It's not, oh, I want more than you gave that dude. I don't know what she gave. I wasn't there for the totality of that relationship, but I know what I want. So I would say to the brother, he's not wrong, but because what it sounds like is that he's saying he wants to make demands that she treat him in an exceptional manner. That is never wrong.
right.
Okay. He has to be willing to reciprocate and worthy, but that is never wrong as a demand because we should all have exceptional treatment in our relationships, right? But
Mm,
we have to be wise about the way we go about articulating that because what you tell her is what you've told her. And she's going to understand whether she does it or not. She's going to understand that as what the standard is of what she needs to do.
mm,
So the demand he's making is not nearly specific enough, and it's not giving her the proper instructions on how to please him as an individual.
right.
That's my response.
Okay. Definitely. What up? What you got to say about that, Drake?
So,
Because he is gonna watch this later. He's gonna be in the inbox, so he's gonna watch this later.
Bet. Good.
um, I won't necessarily say that he's wrong or right, but I'll put it this way, and it could be a case of semantics. If someone wants to call it or label it that, I won't argue to fight it. I can definitely understand how it can be branded as much. There are two things that I do not do, and there are two things that I do not advise anybody to do, male or female, when it comes to relationships. First and foremost, I don't demand a damn thing. I don't demand. Second of all, I don't give ultimatums. I believe if I have to demand, first off, I believe that who you are, how you present yourself, and how you come in the door should do the demanding for you. I think of it the same way, like when they tell you that if you're in the store, you're in the jewelry store, wherever, and you have to ask how much this is, you can't afford it. I feel the same exact way about demands and ultimatums. If I have to demand something from you, something is wrong somewhere. There's a glitch in the matrix somewhere. For me, if I feel that the only way I can get, or the best attempt I have of getting something specific from you, a person who I am in this relationship with, is through demand, that means to me, and this is just me speaking, this could be something different for somebody else. For me, it means that either one, I have not presented myself in a manner that suggests that this is what the standard is, or I haven't said that, or B, I'm with the person who is not capable of providing that for me. So either I haven't represented myself accordingly, or I have gotten with someone who is not capable of meeting this. It's the same way of how you conduct yourself in public. There are certain people who just give off victim energy in the arena of bullying. When they walk around, they almost have like a kick me sign on their back. They just, everywhere they go, they just attract certain energy from people where
Yeah.
it's people that just come screwing with them, trying to mess them and harass them. And you got some people who their energy just says, try it if you want to.
Hmm.
And they just don't nobody come near them, whatever. And even though I can be pretty, jovial, pretty, warm with people, whatever, I have had people who don't know me initially come to me and say, you're always so serious, because typically I don't really smile at that, and I don't necessarily frown. But if I'm just, going day to day and not doing anything, just in trance, whatever, I usually have a pretty stern face. I don't look mean or anything. If I'm talking to you, or if I say something, I usually, I'll be warm and open depending on, circumstance and everything else most of the time. But typically, if there's nothing actually going on, I'm in my thoughts, whatever. I don't look open to bullshit. So there's a lot of situations that, by the grace of God, I just have to deal with. I hear horror stories from people talking about, oh, I always do this and that and third. I'm like, dang, it's never happened to me. I guess I don't give off the energy that says I'm down for this or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel
So
the same in relationships. Um, and there are certain, if we can be honest, and it goes for men and for women, there are certain people who you approach and you kind of get a sense, or you feel like you can do certain things, not necessarily bad things, but you feel like you maybe be a bit more, informal with them. You don't have to be as straight in it, whatever. But there's some people you come around them and you just feel like you have to get your shit together. Like you can't just come to them any old kind of way. You just feel like it's a different thing. So I feel like if I have to demand certain things in regards to treatment, that means I have not conveyed myself in a way that says this is what the entry ticket is. Same thing for ultimatums. If I have to put that in your lap, that means that it's the end already. If I feel like it has to get to that point, because
mhm.
most people don't respond well to ultimatums anyways. They don't respond well to being put on the spot or whatever. And again, I feel like if I have to do this, something is wrong.
True.
And so in the situation that what Buddy's asking us about, uh, if you have to insist on getting that, first off, when you're in a relationship with somebody, it is your obligation to give them your best self.
Yeah.
If you have trauma, if you're unhealed, if you got some stuff that you're dealing with that is preventing you from being able to give your best to the next person you get with, take your ass out of the dating pool. Go sit on the beach chair. Go towel off. Go get something to drink or whatever. Do the work. Heal yourself.
Mm.
You are covered in feces. You stink. You smell god awful. You got all
Uh,
kind of things crawling around you. You look like the plague. Why in God's name would you get in the water other people got to be in? No, stop polluting it.
Yeah.
It might not be your fault that you're damaged, but it is your fault if you go around bleeding on other people. Clean yourself up.
hmm.
There's no shame in being hurt. I mean, you're hurt. You didn't have any, that's not on you. But choosing to stay hurt and then to go ahead and pass on other people, That's all you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the work and go into the dating pool, the dating game, healed and ready to give your best self and make a good effort of it. If that's too tall a task to ask, you aren't dating. You aren't relationship material. You need to
Definitely.
get yourself a cat, a dog, a turtle, some house plants or whatever. You need to die alone. Get you a vibrator, get you a pocket coochie or something, and go get on a first name intimate basis with that thing. That's your future.
Definitely.
Be your own
So
curse. Don't curse somebody
so
else.
so to the guy that will be watching, Facebook friend that did ask for this, I will say this.
Right.
Um, I have never dealt with a woman bashing my car windows, slicing my car tires, and go to what Drake was saying. I never gave off that energy for a dude that would tolerate that type of shit. I've always been a dude that women say that they are intimidated by. My aura is a different type of aura that they run across. So they have to come correct with what they come correct with, and don't play no half-ass games. So I like that energy that I put out there because I don't deal with the nonsense, and the nonsense sense that I don't deal with it, and they don't even cross barriers with me. I don't cross barriers with them, and I've lived my whole life on a very productive level. I don't give people ultimatums like that. If I got to give you an ultimatum like that, that means you don't know my worth. You don't value my worth because I should be saying, damn, you know what, babe, you're doing a lot. You can slow down now. You're doing too much.
Anything.
If I get to that level where I'm telling you you're doing too much, then I know you've overvalued me and I'm appreciative of it. And I don't want you to burn yourself out trying to do so much to show me that you're doing it. So you have to understand who you're dealing with, what energy person you're dealing with, and if that doesn't feel right, then you just move on, and go to somebody else till it feels right, till that situation feels like you don't have to. Uh, always talk about how telepathy, when you're in a relationship, some of the best relationships you're in is when you know that person know you, and they don't have to say anything to you. You know that your girl need her nails done, and you just slide 60 over because you know this is the week she gets her nails done. Oh, put that towards your nails. Or here's a little something before I leave out. She already knows, like, damn, how you know what I'm getting my nails done or something? He already knows that shit. She ain't gotta ask. He already putting it out there. Hey, here go extra money. Put it wherever you want to put it. You have that level of interest and boundaries in each other that sometimes don't even need the words to be transmitted. And when you have that type of relationship, it cuts out less arguments, it cuts out less fuss, and you don't have to question if this person is concerned or worried about you because they already on top of it. So understand what you got in front of you and act accordingly.
One
Yeah,
other quick point also, um, comparison kills. If you are invoking her exes and the way they're being treated and comparing yourself to that, you're already losing. She
correct.
shouldn't. We shouldn't be going backwards. We should be going forwards. If you comparing yourself and highlighting that her ex, the last dude before that, is getting treated better than you, now you're automatically putting yourself in an inferior position to them. Some cases you might have her wondering, maybe I shouldn't have left him. Maybe he wasn't that bad or whatever. Don't worry about it. It's
That's
y'all, unless what's happening in the past is bleeding into your present. The past, is the past. Close that door. Leave that
correct.
alone.
That's a great point
Agreed.
that you made. That was a point that I was gonna make because I always tell men and women that never tell the new person about what you went through in your past. That's an Achilles heel for women. I've always ran across women that always tell me how bad their ex was and how much they didn't value them. And I always told them, I said, dog, stop telling men that. Don't tell men that because you know what that does? That lets the man know your Carfax. If that man jumped in your car and ran your engine down and didn't even take it to go get tuned up or any oil change, that means that he just ragdolled you out and looked at you as a splat car, not a car of value. And when that happens,
Mm-hmm.
the next owner is going to run you down the same way. I don't look at a car that came from a rental place being sold as a regular car to me versus a car that came straight off the showroom with minimum or low miles on it. There's two values of car in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to cherish a rental car because everybody before that dogged that shit out and took it back to the company when they were done. So always, and I tell them, like men and women do that. Men do it too. Stop telling how the last person treats you, because you're only prepping them up for how the next person is going to treat you or devalue.
There's no benefit to it. Only
Exactly.
else
So
that.
definitely. So we're going to go into our last topic for the night, which is crown check. Definitely got a nice little crown check for y'all tonight. Um, and our crown check recipient for tonight is Sarah Rector, the 11-year-old who became the richest black girl in America in 1913. Oh, you
Wow.
guys was gonna say? You guys were, oh, okay. So Sarah Rector, she ended up becoming the richest black woman, but she was part of her wealth was growing up. She was born into the slave system, and part of what they were when they became freemen, part of their what do you call it, part of the agreement was to give them pieces of land. What happened was the whites end up giving her a piece of land and did not know that that part of the land that they gave her had a lot of oil on it. So what they did
Uh,
was they rented out that to the oil factories, and they were getting back in the day $300 a day. I'm not sure what the equivalent to that is, but that's a lot of damn money back in the day. $300 a day. We know to this day $300 a day is
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent, right? So imagine way back then to get $300 a day, and they were renting out the land, and she ended up grossing millions of dollars at a very, very young age. And then she was a very dope pioneer. She went on to do a lot of civil rights things and helping other people to build wealth as well in the process. So this week, we definitely want to give our hands off to Sarah Rector for doing such a phenomenal thing and just being that motivational person and image that we see as a multimillionaire from a very, very young age, and letting black excellence shine out through her name so that these little girls could be 14 and be multimillionaires in the same direction as well. So definitely give our hands off to Sarah Rector for doing a phenomenal job in becoming black history and a black legacy throughout our culture. So that's all we got for you guys tonight. Glad you guys
Yay.
tuned in. We definitely gonna have a dope show for you guys next week, and I hope you guys have a better understanding of simps and the different types of simps that's out there, and understand how detrimental simps can be, even though you might be getting beneficiary factors from a simp. It's so crazy that most women want a simp, but yet if they find out their son is a simp, then all hell break loose and they go off on him. So the standards is never
Mm-hmm.
there. It's always a double standard on that. You want a simp, but you don't want your son to be a simp. All right. With that being said, I'll let you guys close us out.
I mean, I'm gonna make it real quick, brothers. Let's find our backbones. Let's do it. You know what I mean? We can't be out here leading and be taken seriously or expect to be taken seriously if we're not demanding respect at the door, if we're not exuding an aura that, like Bobby said not too long ago, we're not exuding an aura that says, nah, bro, don't try it. That's the type of aura we need to be exuding. We need to be standing up for ourselves. We can protect and defend sisters to the ends of the earth without sacrificing our dignity or demeaning ourselves. Okay. The two things are not, mutually exclusive. You can walk and chew gum, brothers, because women need to be protected and they need to be looked out for and so forth does not mean that they are immune to criticism. Okay. And brothers out there that think that women can't be criticized, you are simps. Brothers out there that are doing too damn much and not getting anything reciprocated when it comes to dealing with women. You are simps. If you are telling lies and moving in deceptive ways in order to curry favor with women, you are a simp. This ain't nothing you need to be doing, bruh. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, any woman of consequence is not going to respect you. She's not going to ever really like you. You understand? Because you're showing by virtue of you being a simp that you don't have the ability to lead, that you are unfit to be someone that she can submit to. You understand what I'm saying? And this is why you see in some of the examples that we gave today, all of these men who have these women doing these disrespectful things. These are men who have millions and millions of dollars. And they say, okay, if you provide in the proper manner and you're protective of your home, then your woman's going to treat you well. No, it doesn't always necessarily work that way. And if you don't have self-respect, and you're not bringing that to the table and you're not leading with that, it don't matter how much money you got, you're still going to be disrespected. You understand? By some low level hood rat that's going to embarrass you every time you fart cough. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't it, brother. We need to find another way. A lot of us came up without our fathers, and that shows in some of these social circles that we're in and some of these posts that we comment on. We say some of the dumbest shit known to man. Brothers, you got to think before you speak, before you comment. You got to think, what is the effect that this comment is going to have on the next 10 people read? You understand what I'm saying? Plant seeds, of manhood. I'm not just saying you be the man, but also put it out there. Plant seeds of manhood so that the next man can pick up and know that he has to move in that same type of way, and let it be a way that is always respectful of who you are, and in a way that you never have to compromise your dignity or your integrity in order to curry favor with women or anybody else. Brothers, this is just how we got to do it. My two
Well
cents.
said. Well said. Definitely. Drake.
Um, Look, like it's been said already, get yourself a backbone. Um, Simping isn't gonna get the job done. Once people see that you're a safe space for bullshit, you will become a toilet. If you are weak, if you're a simp, the solution to not being taken seriously, not being respected as a simp, it's not to become a better simp or to perfect the art of simping. As a simp, you're getting the wages that you've earned. There's no way getting around that. You're looking for a better outcome. Simping isn't going to do it. Instead, do the difficult task of developing yourself. You've got to grow. There's no getting around it. Get yourself a personality. If you already have a personality, it's not a good one. Scratch that. Get yourself a better personality. Work on yourself. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to talk to people. Learn how to get over your fears of that. The funny thing is, how you do one thing tends to be how you do all things. So if you increase your ability to appeal to women, you increase your ability to talk to women, you're able to, be more confident when discussing with them, setting boundaries, setting standards, and being comfortable walking away from women who don't meet those or who you don't jibe and connect with and click with. Those are traits that carry over to other relationships too. That's going to carry over into your work life. That's going to benefit you in your professional life. You're dealing with your family, with your friends, your neighbors, um, even in other social settings. These are traits that aren't just limited to you dealing with women. These are universal traits. Confidence translates everywhere.
Hmm.
Men respect confidence in other men. Women are attracted to confidence in men. It has universal crossover and appeal. So it's not just about doing this to appeal for women. And first and foremost, speaking of that, the key element is you do not do these things. You do not make these improvements for women. To hell with women. This ain't got nothing to do with them. This is about being selfish. This is about being and becoming the best version of you. You're currently at version 1.0. You might be a version half. There's a better version of you. There's a next level. Put in the work. Unlock that. Go ahead and read more things. Get out there and challenge yourself. Join Toastmasters or whatever, or put yourself in positions where you're going to be uncomfortable and you learn to challenge yourself and get comfortable in those situations. Hit the gym, exercise, get in shape, build a better body so you can organically feel better about yourself. You can like who you see in the mirror. Dedicate some time to your hygiene. Make sure you go ahead and get your tape lined up properly. Get yourself some decent facial hair going on, or you know what? Experiment. Get a new haircut. Get some designs going on with your beard or your mustache or whatever. There are all kind of ways where you can take steps, big and small, to making a better version of yourself. And when you're a better version of yourself, it's going to translate everywhere else, including with women. No simping required. As the saying goes, free your mind and your game will follow. It's
Yes,
all here,
sir.
all in here. You got to unlock yourself. But if you are comfortable with mediocrity, if you feel like you shouldn't have to change, the world needs to change for you,
Right.
buckle up and sit your ass in your seat. You in for a long ride, and it's going to be a miserable one. This is not a world that caters to the comfortable and the complacent. Those are the people that get run over first. Speed bumps are
Mm-hmm.
meant to they're meant to get run over. You have the
Sure
choice
is.
of being a speed bump. You could be a pedestrian, or you can be behind the wheel. It's up to you. You choose. But either way, you and you alone are responsible for the outcomes you have in your life. So if you're sick and tired of getting results, you don't like being a doormat, simping really doesn't appeal to you, but you've just been doing it because you don't have any other answers, now you got one.
Right.
Boss yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
Well
And let me just
said.
add up real quick, Ant, before you close out, real quick. One more thing to y'all simps out there. Stop lying. God damn. To quote the
Stop
late
your blood clot
Negro,
lying.
stop exactly. To quote the late Negro poet Tupac Shakur, you ain't got the lie to kick it. Stop telling these women all these goddamn lies. Stop blowing smoke up their ass. Just keep it real. Even the ones who don't like you will respect you. I'm just saying.
Yep.
That's what it is. Y'all heard the real deal. See y'all next week with a dope show. We always come every week with a dope show. So we see y'all next week. Thank y'all for joining us. And we'll
Yeah,
see you next week.
you
Peace.
already know. Yeah.
Sure.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.